I got you.
They have a very small booth up there, but this is where everybody operates out of. There's the bleachers right below us. And then, obviously, the field's not too far away. But everybody opens the windows up in the classrooms, and this is like the press box. It's actually a really cool setup.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of history here. Of course, the old Gateway Conference goes all the way back. Actually, Columbia used to be in the old Gateway Conference. Lee has been really good as of late. Got a little Florida State now. O.J. Small, the head coach here at Lee, against Brian Allen, the head coach at Columbia. Allen went to Florida State. OJ went to Florida, and they've both done fantastic jobs with their football programs. Columbia might be, Austin, the best team in the maybe state, but definitely in the area. They are a top 5 ranked team in the state of Florida right now. They're undefeated. They have a sensational quarterback. And we started our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690 with Columbia really taking it to Trinity Christian in the opener. And we'll see what they have tonight. But it should be a fun football game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just intrigued by this whole classroom setup here. Please take pictures. Please send me something, because I want to see what this thing's all about, especially if this game's going to feature one of the top teams in the entire state.
Yeah, we've got a lot of talent on the field. Lee has a lot of talent on the defensive side, a lot of Power 5 interest in some of their defensive players. Jordan Smith is a USF guy. And, again, they've been banged up, but he's carrying the freight right now. So we'll talk all about that game. Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber will stop by on the show. But then 5:45, our Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show. We'll have the call tonight with Kevin Sullivan and myself of a good one here in Duval County. And still to come on the show, of course, we have our celebrity six-pack of picks. Guess who's going to join us? The Hall of Famer, NBA Hall of Famer, Artis Gilmore on the show today. And I saved you a little bit of a break here. And it might mean a break of your hand, Austin Lane. Because Artis Gilmore, who is a gentle giant, but he is a giant.
Big dude.
And I have some fun Artis Gilmore stories. But Artis Gilmore, to me, before you say anything else about hoops, Hall of Fame, Jacksonville University, anything else, it all comes down to the handshake. And when you shake Artis Gilmore's hands, you buckle up and you get ready to cringe and you just hope the hand does not break. Now, you're a little tougher than me. You probably can handle a little bit more than me. But you know that guy that just kind of goes in there for the kill because he knows you're expecting it with a handshake?
Yeah.
Man, it's just a slow, I'm going to break every bone in your hand.
This guy's the real deal.
Gilmore. Oh, he's a real deal, man. He's so fun. He's a good guy and looks great, doing great. And we'll have some fun. Another story about Artis Gilmore. He'll join us in the 4 o'clock hour. He's got a cool thing coming up, by the way, on Monday, too, so we'll tell you all about that. But he is going to join us for some picks. The cool thing about Artis, we were doing the Dream 18, and back on the Dream 18 when we used to play with celebrities, and we'd play a hole, and we'd play with like a First Tee kid or a kid from the North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. When we did that, we played at Hidden Hills. And I want to say we played like the 6th hole at Hidden Hills. And there's some houses along the right side. So everybody tees up. And then Artis has to have special clubs made because he's so tall.
Of course.
So he's got custom clubs.
Yeah.
And he's a decent golfer. Like he plays in a lot of celebrity golf tournaments. But I don't think he had played in a while or he had new clubs or something. And so he takes the first one and he kind of hits the houses on the right side. And I mean, listen, it's the magic of TV. We can do it again.
Yeah.
And hits the houses on the right side again.
Okay.
And I said, hey, don't worry about it. He's like, I'm not worried at all. I'm going to hit it until I'm happy.
And you know what? Going to tell him differently.
Nobody's telling him.
Yeah,
you do whatever you want, Artis Gilmore, but we're going to make sure you hit one good, and it's going to look like it piped down the middle on the first time on TV. And we might have done that a bunch back in the day on our Action Sports Jax Stream 18.
And maybe I can get some handshake tips from him because I'm not sure where my handshake ranks as far as firm or soft, but I don't give a lot of handshakes, obviously. I think it's a generational thing where nowadays, you go in for the bro hug, the handshake, you go in for a fist bump.
Yeah.
And I feel people my age, especially younger, they're not really too familiar with the firm handshake. So maybe I can get some tips from him as well.
It is something, and I don't know if that's my dad never said hey, you got to shake hands like this.
Exactly.
He never did that. But I don't really. I don't know if you kind of, as you grow up, you just see other people shake hands or whatever. But I will say this, with Ty, Ty's a little guy. Mm-hmm. And when he was small, you'd introduce him to people, and I'd be like, hey, dude, you got to get in there a little bit more,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, come on now. Let's go. And so who knows? I guess you can only do that at some point. If you don't have a firm enough handshake, somebody's going to tell you.
True.
And you're probably going to shake hands a little firmer.
That's what happened to me. I'm on the sidelines when I was doing my interview with Juwan Taylor. A certain member of the media, not going to name any names, Gene Fournette, told me that I have to get my handshake better. So, yeah,
wow.
whatever.
He told you have to get a better handshake?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So, I know.
Oh, how about that? Just don't tell him to teach you how to take pictures of anything, okay?
Well,
because a blimp might show up, or maybe not.
Yeah, that or I can take my advice of how to pop my collar real smooth like he does too as well. So we can go back and forth as Kuz is popping his collar right now in the studio.
I love the Gene Fournette mention. That's awesome. He takes it so well, man.
Yeah,
he takes
he's
it
the best, man. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Jags headquarters, and that's the place where everything seems to be happening. We're, about 48 hours away from a football game at the bank, and should be a fun one, a really good one you circle on your calendar. And, I think the Jags are a pretty good football team. I said this to somebody. They're like, hey, what do you think? I said, you know what? I'm leaning toward the Saints. I think the Saints are a good team. I predicted the Jags would be 3-3 after 6. I thought they were going to get the Carolina win. And I don't know how I feel about this one. I want to pick the Jags, but I really believe the Saints are a good football team, well-rounded, even with Breeze out, and obviously Bridgewater's playing better. I don't think Bridgewater's going to kill the Jags on Sunday. I just think overall they're a really good football team. So I'm favoring the Saints at the moment, and I want to kind of stick with my formula of saying, hey, they would have beat Carolina, lost to the Saints. Hopefully that gets flip-flopped, but I think it's going to be a tough game on Sunday. But I also said this to that same person who asked me just a short time ago. I said, you know what? Like, the Jags are pretty good, too. And all of a sudden, everybody's on alarm about the defense, right? Everybody's like, oh, my gosh, the defense is terrible. Like, they're not going to stop anybody. That's not how it works in the NFL, Austin. You know what happens this week.
I do.
Alvin Kamara is going to have a tough go. The Jags are going to be so locked in and focused on that run game. Now, if they run for 200-plus against the Jags, I'll come with you. I'll be alarmed, too. I'll say, whoa, what's going on? But for now, that's a one-off thing, not something we've seen a lot of. And I think the Jags will get that corrected. And then we think the offense of the Jags is pretty good. They have really good special teams. They have emerging players on offense. The bottom line for me, just like last week, I thought that was a good football game between two pretty good football teams. I think this will be a good football game between two pretty good football teams. You can't turn it over. You got to make a couple of plays, and whoever makes those plays will win. And right now, I kind of favor the Saints maybe to do that.
You see, it's funny now because I'm almost entering every single week here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, expecting their offense to go out and just, do their thing. Like, yes, the Saints are a decent defense. I wouldn't put them top 5, but they're okay. But just like Carolina, and we were talking about their pass defense last weekend, and the Jaguars did just fine. So it's so weird now being in 2019, especially after last season and really even the season before that, where, you weren't really accustomed to really seeing those high-scoring games, right? Like it was more of pounding the rock depending on your defense. Well, now with Gardner Minshew and that receiving core, yes, Leonard Fournette's helping things out too as well. But now you have the fact where it's like, I expect the Jaguars to put up points. But what it comes down to me is if their defense can learn from that Carolina game and come out, and basically with their hair on fire. And it's like you mentioned, I think it was yesterday, we talked about if they can hold Alvin Kamara, I think you said to under 125 yards total. So
yeah,
that's
counting 120. 120 is my number.
Yeah, so in the receiving and in the run game, I think they do have a really great chance of winning. What concerns me, though, and obviously we're not sure if Jalen Ramsey is going to play yet. It's looking promising. It's looking like he'll be able to take on Michael Thomas, which is obviously a huge asset going into the Sunday's game. But, this is a guy I've been talking about a lot, Brandon. He doesn't really get a lot of love for the Saints, but Taysom Hill. And this is a guy where we talked about, when we did our video yesterday, where all the distractions, like Greg Olsen going in motion. Well, Taysom Hill can do that times 10. Like wherever Taysom Hill's on the field, you have to account for him, whether it's in the receiving game, whether he's at quarterback, running the wildcat, whether he's put up at receiver. The guy can do so many things. And I think that the Saints they do a great job of exploiting, other teams' weaknesses. And I think right now, if we look top to bottom on that Jaguars defense, you would say probably the linebacking core so far hasn't been the strong suit for the Jaguars. And whether that's communication, whether that's not fitting your gaps, whatever it is, it hasn't been that strong. And if you have a guy like Taysom Hill, if you have a guy like Jared Cook at the tight end position, that you can kind of, run through that linebacking group, they have to mind their P's and Q's. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's why I kind of have a bad feeling about this game too, where I get it. You got to stop Alvin Kamara. Got to stop Michael Thomas. But they also have other ways that they can beat you still.
Yeah, these are games, though, in the NFL where I say, okay, maybe you think you should have got one. Maybe it's Carolina. Maybe it's Houston. And then there are games where you think you shouldn't get it, or at least from the outside, like we talk and say, like, I don't know if I like that one. And then in the NFL, you win that game. You know, all I have to do is give you the Raiders. The Raiders, they go in, or really give you the Indianapolis Colts. They go into, they host the Raiders and they lose. And then the Colts go to Kansas City and win. You know, that's the NFL. Like if you predicted their schedule, you would have said, okay, they beat the Raiders and lose to the Chiefs. Yeah. And it happened the flip-flop way. And I think that happens. You know, you don't just steal them. And that's why I say look out way ahead. Don't just chalk the wins up against Cincinnati and the Jets because it doesn't work that way in the NFL. It just doesn't. So, I mean, look, the Giants played with the Patriots for a long time last night. So you got to be careful. It's just a weird league. It's a really strange thing. You don't know what's going to happen. But it would be massive if the Jags could get a win on Sunday, in my opinion. Remember when we ran back that quote from Carson Wentz from that Thursday night game? I think they beat Green Bay that night. And he says a big difference between being 1-3 and 2-2.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to up the ante with Carson. And I want to say, I think there's a huge difference between being 3-3 and 2-4.
Oh, without a doubt.
Especially in an AFC South, which you almost know is going to come down to one game. And so these games are just so crucial. You're going to slip up, but home games and division games, man, you want to chalk up W's as much as possible in those. We got a lot to get to. The more and more I think about yesterday's show, if you don't mind me saying, the more and more I kind of liked it. Jacques Doucet from Baton Rouge I thought was really good on the LSU-Florida game, but also on DJ Chark and Leonard Fournette. So sometime go back and listen to that if you haven't caught it yet. Don't do it now. We want you to listen to this show now. But I also thought Austin did a great job of breaking down those plays. We had a little bit of a video issue, but we ended up putting it on YouTube, and it's getting a lot of reaction, Austin, so a lot of people like it.
Cool.
But I'm not just bragging about you here. I also, sometimes I'm like, all right, does Austin really know what he's talking about? I mean, does he really? Because I don't, so I can't question you. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yep. I just went on. I went on the message boards. People were talking about it, and I used it from there.
Yeah, I got a little something to add to your resume from what I heard on Jaguars All Access. That's coming up a little bit later on the show. But coming up next, the Ramsey issue. We'll update you on that. Not nearly an issue. He's practicing 3 days in a week, so he's got to play, right? And I want to get into something that happened this week. I saw illustrations of 2 players' hometowns. And doesn't it speak volume about the personalities, the backgrounds of an NFL locker room? Let's talk about Leonard Fournette and Gardner Minshew when we come back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A nice warm day today, a comfortable humidity under partly sunny skies and highs in the low to mid 80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all 3. Family-owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations. Or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website vidadelouis.com.
50% of all merchandise will go to these funds. Please help Vida de Louis help the Bahamas by going to vidadelouis.com.
It's time for another shout out to all the North Florida poker fans. This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville and the $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble kicks off October 11th, featuring a $1 million guaranteed prize pool. Come play with 30 of the most acclaimed celebrities from around the globe. Knock any of them out and receive $2,500 in cash. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjax.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
There's a lot of reasons for buying flowers for your wife or girlfriend. Birthdays, anniversaries, you're in trouble again. But those are all pretty cliche. How about you get her flowers because she fixed your favorite dinner, or just because you want to surprise her? No matter the occasion, or no occasion at all, check out Seawalk Custom Florals. They even deliver. Visit SeawalkCustomFlorals.com or call 904-554-0617. And don't forget about your mom either. Seawalk Custom Florals.
Sí, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
You know where you win games, Dan? In the trenches on Sundays.
Appreciate all your thoughts on this matter.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Action Sports Jocks. Bomb Squad!
Chark has done a great job of not letting the game get too big for him, not letting the game be too fast for him. He's taken everything in stride, and each game he's really leveled up just a little bit. We have these conversations during practice. We have these conversations after games, and all I say to Chark is, hey, this is who you are. Every game, you're going to have to approach it a little bit differently. The defense is going to play a little bit differently. Mold your game and allow it to elevate in that situation. And he did that yesterday, and I'm hoping that he continues to come into work because he will continue to do that. DJ Chark's definitely got the hot hand, and there's a connection going on between him and number 15.
Wow, how about that analysis from Chris Conley, man?
Man, we say it every single week, but like, get that guy like in the Democratic National Convention or like do a speech or something, man. Like, I'll follow that guy anywhere. I'm convinced.
How about that?
Good
he
stuff.
is really good. That was Chris Conley Monday night at Top Golf.
Yeah.
Jags Report live with us on Action Sports Jags, and he's been so good. And Chark, of course, is emerging, and it just stuck. I was like, wow, he was really good on Chark, and hadn't had a chance to play it for everybody yet. If you missed the show, I just thought he just kind of summed it up, man. I mean, he kind of told you, well, from a receiver's point of view, he's got the hot hand. He also didn't deny, really, listen, Gardner Minshew is going Chark's direction at the moment. I mean, he just has a comfort level with Chark, and Chark's making plays for him. He was really the only guy that's catching passes right now that caught balls from Minshew in the preseason. Everybody else was working with the ones, and Nick Foles or a guy like Marquise Lee wasn't really even working as he was trying to get back from the knee injury. So, you know, it's just great insight. These guys can be so good at it, and I thought Conley Monday night was awesome, talking about a lot of things, but especially Chark. I'll tell you what. I've been doing the show, a reminder, Monday night, Jags Report live at Top Golf. You're more than welcome to come out. We'd love to have you. We have guests every week. We hope to, and Chris Conley will join us a bunch of weeks during the course of the year. So come on, meet Chris, say hello. He'll sign some autographs, take some pictures, and we'll talk some football Monday night, 7 o'clock, Jags Report live at Top Golf, hopefully after a Jags win. But then, you know, Austin, I've been doing the show with Calais Campbell now for 3 years. And Calais is so good in so many different respects. But I actually thought, like, last night, maybe one of the best he's ever been. I haven't told him this yet, but I just kind of thought, I was like, man, he was really good. And you know what's interesting about him being so good last night? Avery Jones was fantastic as well out at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Is he kind of got called out a little bit by Jeff Lageman.
And, you know, I'm sorry, Avery or Conley?
No, Calais.
Oh, Calais. I'm sorry. Okay,
yeah, I'm
Calais.
talking. I know I'm mixing the two shows, but I'm talking Calais, and I thought Calais is always good on the show,
of course.
But Jeff always takes to the film room, and he actually described a lot of similar things like you described on our wall that says it all yesterday during the show.
Interesting.
And so pointed out that 93, made an error on that 84-yard run. And Calais was really good about it. I'm going to share that with you a little bit later on, but you'll see. And it's interesting the speak that you guys all have that are in locker rooms and in meeting rooms, because there was a time yesterday on the show on Jaguars All Access, Calais Campbell used the exact same phrase that you said while we're at the wall that says it all
cool.
last night on the show.
To hear it.
So, yeah, I'll get into that.
It, Brent. I've been out of the game for a while, but it's good to know I still got a little bit. Now, speaking of got it, did you get my money from Avery Jones?
No.
Awesome.
Didn't even ask.
Did you forget, or you're intimidated by him?
No, I mean, there's a level of intimidation if I was asking a guy for money and he weighs about 300 pounds. But that wasn't really why. I just totally forgot.
Okay, gotcha. Well, at least you're honest. I appreciate it.
And to be quite honest with you, man, I mean, that's your battle. You fight for a living, and at the same time, $50 is not worth for me.
Brent.
I mean, it's got to be a higher price for me to get some kind of cut. I mean, if you give me a cut of that, I get your $50. I'm getting like $5. I'm not here for that. I got busier things to do.
Through all the contract talks that we've talked about, through Le'Veon Bell, we've talked about Antonio Brown, Brent, have you learned nothing? It's not about the money, man. Sometimes it's about the principle.
Yes, it is. And
okay.
I know this is a big principle thing for you. I just hope he never pays you.
Okay, appreciate it, man. Thanks for taking my side. Awesome.
Well, I mean,
maybe Avery can come do the show with you then during the season.
Well, not only that, we tried to go that route for a long time here at ESPN 690. Didn't pay you for a long time.
That's a good point. You know what? I'm just happy to make some money. You're absolutely right.
All right, man. Hey, I want to get into a real quick thought on Jalen Ramsey. Is there really much more to add? Ramsey, the owner says he thinks he'll play. Ramsey practices Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He's listed as questionable. I mean, you think he plays, right? I mean, unless something happens tomorrow, we'll know inactives come on 11:30. Word is Marone was kind of coy about it. He's playing in this football game Sunday, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's to the point, Brent, like I'm trying to think of more important games where, the Jaguars need him to play. And this is A1 right here. Like obviously against the Carolina Panthers, we didn't really think that they had a receiver that could beat you. They had Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore who were serviceable, but, they weren't burners. They weren't game breakers. Michael Thomas is a game breaker. So if I'm Doug Marone, if I'm Shad Khan and Jalen Ramsey wakes up, Friday, he woke up Friday morning and says maybe he's not feeling so good. If he wakes up Saturday during walkthroughs and says, I don't know, then I will fly him to Germany and I will put stem cells in him myself because he's playing against Michael Thomas because the Jaguars need him that bad for this Saints game.
Yeah, I think so too. Jalen Ramsey makes your football team better. I don't think, they won the game in Denver without him. And that last drive could have really altered the way everybody looked at the whole Ramsey situation, but Minshew came back and won the game with a Lambeau kick. Last week, I mean, quite frankly, I think even if you asked Jalen Ramsey, I'm not sure what he would have done to save that last week. There really just weren't a lot of pass plays. This was all about stopping the run. It was about their front seven more than it was about their secondary. And so I just don't feel like they would have won the game if Ramsey had played last week. And I think a lot of people agree, right?
Exactly.
But this one is different. Mm-hmm. This one is Teddy Bridgewater starting to heat up. I really believe the Jags are going to stop the run. There's going to be so much emphasis. There will be so much more focus. It will be on point that then I think Teddy Bridgewater will have to beat you with Michael Thomas and maybe Kamara out of the backfield, but some of those weapons. And I think this game is big for the Jags to have Jalen Ramsey. I'm not saying they couldn't win it without him, but I do think this would have been the one, or if he doesn't play, this will be the one that is most noticeable of the three that Jalen Ramsey didn't play, in my opinion.
Exactly. And this kind of stems back to what you're talking about, where the defense coming out, and stopping Alvin Kamara, because it works hand in hand, right? And listen, Brenda, I've been in those locker rooms before after, we've surrendered 200 yards on the ground. It happened a lot during the Mike Mularkey era, unfortunately. But it always seems like teams rebound, right? And you talked about that yourself, where if a team has a bad game in the run or the pass, they almost drive it home so much where you can't fail the second time. You can't come out, this Sunday against New Orleans and be bad in the run. Just because I guarantee right now, Todd Wash, Doug Marone, the coaches that coach the positions, they're all hammering at home that Kamara cannot beat us. Kamara cannot beat us. And I'm not sure if Calais Campbell or A.B. Jones mentioned that, but I guarantee that they're hearing more about it than they want to hear about it, from the coaches and everything. But they understand what's at stake. So from that perspective, I do think if the Saints are going to win, it's got to be through the air. And the first thing started with Michael Thomas.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're just checking us out on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, I am not at home next to the window. So, waiting to see if it's going to rain, okay?
One of my friends texted me and they asked and I quote, is Brent Martineau live from inside Gardner Minshew's parents' house when he broke in?
That's great, man. That's great. Hey, I should have just framed it like I was, right?
For sure, man.
I mean, that would have been great. I've been in Mississippi all week. I'm in his house.
That's what we call dedication. Getting the story. I love it.
That's great. No, I'm in the backyard, not Minshew's backyard. Lee's backyard. This is where our game of the week is tonight. Really cool setting. I'm literally in a classroom. I'll tweet out a picture in a little bit. But that's the football field. We'll call the game from up here tonight on ESPN 690. Okay, hang with us for a couple minutes, Coos. I want to get to this topic, and we'll continue it in the next segment, too. But I want to at least introduce it because I told folks that I would. Something hit me this week, man. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but you're a great guy to talk to this about because you come from Wisconsin, you go down to Murray State. you're a different cat anyway, in a good way.
I'll take that as a compliment. Okay, thank you. Okay.
But we've talked about how different a locker room is.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And how, 53 players from all different backgrounds and religious beliefs and political beliefs and all this stuff. What we did this week is dissect that play that they gave up an 84-yard run on. It shows just how minuscule success versus failure is, and also how much everybody's got to be on the same page, because we noted at least 4 players made a mistake of some kind on that play by Christian McCaffrey. So you put that all together, and I can't help but think of going to Gardner Minshew's hometown of Brandon, Mississippi, a suburb of Jackson, or just outside of Jackson, and very nice place. Grew up, humble family, but he grew up, I would say, at the very least, middle class. And but, man, he's a go-getter, works his butt off. Look at the story that's being played out with Minshew Mania. And then earlier this week, Jaguars.com unveiled a documentary on Leonard Fournette. Grew up in the 7th Ward in New Orleans. Tough beginnings. I've thrown that quote around that he gave to I think it was Bleacher Report when he did an article that 50% of his family was in prison and 90% of the people he knew in prison.
Yeah.
Even in that documentary, if you saw it, he stopped by like a cousin's house that had been shot in the head. It got me thinking again about what we've talked about in the past, this ultimate team game, but more so the dynamic of a locker room and the dynamic of getting everybody on the same page and just doing your business, even if some of your beliefs aren't the same and your backgrounds aren't the same. And I couldn't help but think of it this week. I mean, me being in Mississippi, that story being set back in New Orleans, the successes of Leonard Fournette, the successes of Gardner Minshew to this point, and also what I think is a pretty good relationship. Both guys, complimentary of each other, need each other to be successful. I just thought, I don't know if I'm digging too deep here, but I at least wanted to pause for a minute this week and acknowledge the fact that was a really good story on Jaguars.com. I thought we had some fun stuff and told you a little bit about Gardner Minshew's background and the idea that these guys are in the same backfield together in the NFL. It fascinates me. It's really a cool dynamic. I think of sports, but I really feel like the NFL is different than most sports when it comes to this part of it.
Listen, and you're absolutely right, Brent. And it's so cool when they have, success. I mean, that's what you live to see as a Jaguars fan, and that's what you live for as a player in that locker room. I've said it a couple times before. It's like you mentioned, different races, different upbringings, different religions, different backgrounds, different environments where these players have come from. Different music tastes. I remember, in that locker room, Brent, because there's one giant there's one giant speaker, and sometimes it's country music, sometimes it's rap music, and sometimes Dave Garrard puts on Chicken Fried, and everybody sings along. For whatever reason, Zach Brown Band universally liked in the Jaguars NFL locker room in 2010. Very rare. I'm just saying, but it is those little nuances, and it's like I mentioned before, most jobs, people work a job to make money or to be successful. In the NFL, when you're sharing a locker room with people, they play for a variety of reasons. They play to be the best player they can be. Some play for the fame. Some just play for the money. Some just play for themselves. Some play for their family. So you add that on top of everything else with the different upbringings and all that. And it's an environment that can combust, or it's an environment that can be, that can achieve greatness. And the thing that I always say, and this happens during when I was in two-a-days or during training camp, and I get it, training camp has definitely been lightened up since even when I first started playing as a rookie, but it still sucks. All right. I mean, doing the same thing every single day, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're sore, it's hot outside, especially in Jacksonville. It's not fun. And it sucks. I don't care how much you love football. Maybe unless you're a quarterback, you're not getting hit. You just don't enjoy training camp, especially when you're 4 or 5 weeks into it.
It's never going to be gym class.
Exactly. but it's what helps you out, though, and what kind of gets you through the whole thing of sitting through the long meetings over and over, going through the same stuff, the new install, you're getting yelled at, all this crazy stuff is the fact that you're not alone. You also have your teammates by your side. And you got to remember, when those guys are going through training camp, when they're trying to build that team, when they're trying to achieve, the team that's going to hopefully win a Super Bowl, they're spending more times in that stadium. They're spending more times around their teammates than those players are with their families. And when you have that, you have to build a bond, because if you don't have a bond, you're not going to get through it. So you're absolutely right, Brent. Like, it is different upbringings. It is a different environment. But when you win games and when you come together collectively to achieve one goal, which is, I think, the beauty of not only football, but team sports, that's when you got something magical going on.
Yeah, and okay, so that's the preface to my next part of the conversation. We're going to take a timeout on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And the other part of this that I really thought about, man, was this has been Gardner Minshew's team for 4.5 weeks now. Mm-hmm. This was Nick Foles' team for, 6 months, 5 months, whatever it was. But now it's Gardner Minshew's team. Is it completely, and what kind of work does he have to do internally to say, hey, I'm your guy? And, yeah, maybe I hand off to the other guy at some point, but I'm your guy for right now, and you got to buy all in on number 15. And how hard is that to do as a rookie quarterback, 6th-round pick that, quite frankly, so many people probably in that locker room hadn't heard about? Let's talk about it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The question on everyone's mind is, what will Gardner Minshew wear to the stadium this Sunday? After that, everyone wants to know if Jalen Ramsey is going to play against the Saints. Here's what team owner Shad Khan had to say about that.
I met him a couple of days ago, had a heart-to-heart, and, he's going to be playing this week. So hopefully you'll tune in to the Saints game.
And in MLB news, the Astros eliminated the Tampa Bay Rays last night, securing a spot in the ALCS. The NLCS starts tonight with Washington and St. Louis. Plus, a full slate of college action tomorrow with Georgia and South Carolina set to meet up at noon. Florida State takes on number 3 Clemson at 3:30. And Florida mixes it up with LSU at 8. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. Locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport, Baker's Sports has been doing just that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas. Screen print, embroidery, and trophies all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker's Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker's Sports.
Time to register for the 16th Annual USO Armed Forces Half Marathon and Freedom 5K, one of the premier running events in the Southeast. The mission of the USO Armed Forces Half Marathon and Freedom 5K is to strengthen the bond between the civilian and military communities, promote sound physical health and fitness, and to raise funds for the greater Jacksonville area USO in support of all 5 branches of the military, including the Florida National Guard and their family members. It all happens on Saturday, October 12th, starting at Metropolitan Park. This is a family-friendly event featuring high-tech military vehicles and prizes. Proceeds benefit the Jacksonville USO and other military charities. The USO Armed Forces Half Marathon and Freedom 5K happens on October 12th, so don't wait. Register today online at jaxusohalfmarathon.com.
How many jewelry stores ask you to shop around? Beard's Diamonds wants you to see the selection and pricing other stores have to offer. Why? Here's Ben from Beard's Diamonds to tell you.
Because at Beard's, we are so confident in our diamond prices. So confident that no other store can touch Beard's prices. That we're willing to give you a $500 gift card if you find a GIA certified diamond for less anywhere in North Florida.
Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com. See store for details. Want to hear something crazy? Last month, our friends at Arlington Toyota offered prices up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. Want to hear something really crazy? Arlington is extending the sale. The 2020 Super Sales Event has been extended at Arlington Toyota. So come in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. That's up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Camry, it's not $25,555. Now it's only $17,288. That's $17,288 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington Toyota. How about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? Not $20,485. No, it's $13,888. Yeah, $13,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Hey, boss.
What?
You think it's okay to get out of here yet?
No, the cops may be still patrolling around out there. Give it another 10 minutes.
Okay. Boss?
What?
You still mad at me?
Well, let's assess our situation, shall we? Here we are hiding out from the cops in this storm pipe because you neglected to determine that the house we came up on had safe touch security. Is my assessment correct?
Yeah, but I swear they didn't have safe touch last week.
I don't want to hear about it, Corn Pop. We didn't even get to the front door before the safe touch video monitoring kicked in. Now here we are crouching in this stinking ditch.
Sorry, boss.
Just so I know you know, tell me the Crooks Arrest motto again.
Stay away from safe touch houses.
At least you got that right.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
You know you'd like to add an $80 gift card to your wallet. Well, that's exactly what you can get this October at any of Tire Outlet's 9 locations. We're here to tell you about the Yokohama Fall Rebate at TireOutlet.com. You'll receive up to $80 on a Visa prepaid card or Visa virtual account with your purchase of 4 select Yokohama tires. The Yokohama Fall Rebate offer, only this month. See more rebates and info at TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
We're coming to Jacksonville. Oh, hey, it's Mike Golick. We'll be in town for the Georgia-Florida game and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
Hey, I'm Jay DeMarcus from Rascal Flats, and this is Action Sports Jags.
I think everyone in the locker room already knew what Minshew was capable of, and we're allowing the world to revel in that and enjoy it and have a little bit of fun with it. But, we've believed that for a long time, and the sooner that people outside start to realize that, the better. Gardner has just a tremendous amount of ability. He has a tremendous amount of confidence, and if you can put those two things together with some football IQ like he has, it allows you to go out there and make a lot of plays.
Well, that's Chris Conley on Jags Report Live Monday. Top Golf, come on out. Join us again, 7 p.m. at Top Golf, and more of that kind of talk with Jags players and our Action Sports Jags team. You're invited to be there, 7 o'clock Jags Report Live. Monday nights all season long at Top Golf. Brent Martineau here in the backyard, not just hanging out at a house and looking out the window. Although I used to do this as a kid. I used to be the guy that would sit next to the window, like when I had a Little League game.
Okay.
And it would be raining. I'm like, please stop. I get so mad that it was raining, and I wanted to go play.
Oh, I was with you, man. I was the same way in flag football. Like, if it was raining, I couldn't go outside and play. I was bummed.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Up there in Wisconsin and back where I'm from in Rhode Island, I guess that happened to us quite a bit, didn't it?
It did. Dude,
I was the opposite.
I know, Cruz was like, it's whatever.
I wanted it to rain so I could stay home and play video games.
Video game time. Brent, let me ask this quick question. We'll get back on track here. So you're from Rhode Island.
Yep.
You guys get snow there.
Yep.
So was there anything worse? I mean, did you experience what I had to experience when it'd be Christmas time, you get a brand new bicycle, and you can't go outside and ride it because there's snow on the ground? Did you ever have that problem?
Yeah, a bunch of that stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
like whether it was a skateboard or whatever,
Yeah,
you couldn't
yeah.
use it for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I will say we were probably a little bit different. Like there were some winters that might have been 45, 50 degrees and no snow. You know, I was rooting for snow, and
Yeah.
I probably had less snow on Christmas, like white Christmases, than I wanted. I was a big Christmas guy as a kid.
Sure.
And I was hoping it would snow around Christmas time. So you probably had a lot more snow than we did. We were right on that sleet line all the time, and it was awful. It would always sleet. You know, it'd be like icy or rain snow mix instead of just snow, and I wanted it to snow. Meanwhile, here, when is it going to cool off a little bit? Today was actually a beautiful day.
Yeah.
But I do not mind it hot. I have no problem with it hot. But I'm either getting fatter in football season or every freaking time I come to a high school game, it is just blistering hot.
Yeah.
And these have been the hottest days of the year for me on the Fridays. Like I'm a 2-shirt guy on Fridays.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think we just must end up, the sun must be in the right spot at 3:00, and it's the hottest part of the day. And here we are once again. Even though I'm inside, that thing is beaten down right now.
Well, thank God that I'm not with you, because you know how much I sweat, Brent. I don't have to tell you. So the fact that these are the hottest days for you this year is calling these high school games. Yeah, there's no way I could actually do that with you, because I'd gone through like at least 4 or 5 shirts per night. So no way.
And then it gets awesome out, you know, once the sun goes down. It's just beautiful. And this morning was really nice, too. Okay, here's where I want to go with the next thing. I want to stay on Gardner Minshew. And you can really help us out here. Because quite simply, before I get too in-depth about it, let me just ask you this simplistic question. Is this Gardner Minshew's football team right now here in Jacksonville?
Yes. I believe so. And from my perspective, Brent, listen, he's a rookie, right? And they always say you have to earn your stripes as a rookie. You know, especially a 6th-round guy, a guy who wasn't drafted really to be in the spot that he's in right now, right? Like, nobody could foresee this happening. But with his success, the way his teammates speak about him, you know, the ability to get the win so far, I mean, for the most part, you got 2 wins. I think this is his team. And as a rookie, I've sat here on the show and talked about how, as a rookie, I mean, yeah, it's hard because you go from college to the NFL. So obviously there's a skill level difference. Obviously the game's faster, the guys are stronger, you know, the plays are more intricate. So there's all that going on. But at the same time, you still have to figure out how to be a pro. You don't just come from college, go to professional, to the NFL, or name your sport, whatever it is, and figure out how to be a pro right away. You know, for me, I always talked about, like, I wasn't myself until really I left Jacksonville, right? Like, I was always trying to be the people pleaser. I was always trying to go, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir. Can you imagine me saying yes, sir, at least 20 times a day? Didn't think that was possible. But, like, that's who I was, just because I was just trying to be the people pleaser. I didn't know what I was doing. But then we entered Gardner Minshew now. And you can say whatever you want about Gardner Minshew. He's got a good arm. He can stand in the pocket. He's a great leader. He wins over a locker room, but he knows how to be a pro. And in being a pro, he's just being himself. He's not trying to, figure it out like, all right, I got to be a people pleaser here. I got to make sure, I represent the team in this press conference. I have to abide by the double standard. I don't think Gardner Minshew does abide by the double standard in terms of a quarterback. I just think Gardner Minshew's being himself. I think Gardner Minshew's being the same guy he's been since he was in high school. And with that kind of attitude right now, and that kind of mindset, that's what you're seeing on the field.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about it is how do you make that adaptation? And, like, I feel like this is Gardner Minshew's football team right now. I really do. He just wrapped up his 4th Pepsi Rookie of the Week honors. Yeah. I mean, the guy's putting up crazy numbers. He's all over the world right now. The mustache, the jorts, the everything. And it's a phenomenon around the NFL. So I think that part of it alone kind of gives him street cred, you know? And guys are like, whoa, look at this. I mean, this is kind of fun stuff. But then I think, and again, this is where you can talk to it a bit more. I think there's this element of it, like he has to go tell everybody this is his team. Like, I'm here for you. I don't care if you're a 12-year vet and you're Calais Campbell or if you're fellow rookie Josh Oliver or Josh Allen. You know, I think he has to do that. And even in the case of – so here's the dynamic. Like, does he say something to a Jalen Ramsey, right? Does he kind of try to squash that whole scenario of what's going on outside versus what's going on inside? Hey, we need you. See, I would think a Nick Foles, given his veteran experience, might reach out to a Ramsey during the course of this or have communication during the course of this. In fact, I saw Foles in the locker room, and this wasn't Ramsey related because he obviously wasn't in Carolina, but I saw him after the game. He went over to DJ Chark and was just telling him how proud he was of him. You know? Yeah. So he's still having all that communication with his receivers and other people. And that's what I assumed Foles was doing back in April and May and June. And then, of course, in July and August, that he was kind of trying to say, hey, I'm here for you, right? He talked about that at news conferences a lot. I understand that's kind of the role of the quarterback. I bet Tom Brady does that. I bet Drew Brees has done that, both the offense, the defense, the special teams. I bet Phillip Rivers has long done it, and Russell Wilson has long done it.
Yeah.
I just wonder how hard it is to do it, especially if some folks, and at least for now, probably everybody says, all right, this is a part-time thing. Do you go grab everybody and say, hey, as long as this lasts, this is my team right now. I'm here for you. Come along for the ride. It can be a complicated thing, I believe, even though I asked a pretty simplistic question.
No, it can obviously be complicated. And I think if you're Gardner Minshew, that doesn't fall on your responsibility to go around and say, hey, guys, I got this right now. This is my team. I think the guys in that locker room right now, Brent, they understand that. You know, and I played on a couple teams, and I've had many conversations with football players about the quarterback position. And the quarterback position, the guys that were great, the guys that got the most respect at the quarterback spot were the guys that were the most genuine. Now, if you were to tell me that a guy from Washington State who, you know, stretches out and just a jock strap, you know, goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars locker room and wins over that locker room, I'd be like, man, I'm not sure if there's a spot in the locker room for a guy who just wears a jock strap and stretches. Like, I mean, I get it. The locker room is a crazy place, but even that's kind of like off the wall and might kind of make some players turn their head a little bit. But at the same time, that's who Gardner Minshew is. He's just being himself. He's being genuine. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, they understand that. But now here's the problem, Brent. And this is something that's got to be addressed, you know, in the next couple weeks or so when Foles, you know, starts to come back here. When I had the conversation with Alex Magoo, you know, this is like back in training camp, I talked to Alex Magoo. And I asked him to compare Russell Wilson to Nick Foles. And he was very open and he was very transparent. And he said, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. But then he said, Russell Wilson to me is a businessman. Like, he's all business. On the field, he's one of the best quarterbacks. But off the field, you know, you don't really hear from him that much. And Russell Wilson's the highest paid quarterback right now in the NFL, Brent, and he's one of the best quarterbacks. But I think we have got
a good businessman.
He is a good businessman, exactly. He's married to Sierra. Congratulations, sir. But when we're talking about Nick Foles also goes about his craft, right? I mean, he's also a great quarterback. He won a Super Bowl MVP. And I took this from Alex Magoo's mouth, but he also said off the field, you know, Nick Foles earns a lot of respect because he literally cares about his teammates. He cares about the players. He's always calling up and checking on everybody, making sure everyone's on the same page and everyone's doing good. So from that perspective as well, Brent, and it's not just Alex Magoo that said this. We've heard many sources. Sal Palantonio was called in and said just how great of a leader Nick Foles is. So it begs the question, and granted, this is going to come down to wins and losses at the end of the day. But when Foles does come back, you know, it's just what I don't want to see happen is an implosion where it's like there's going to be a question, well, should they start Gardner or should they start Nick? You know, like, I think if they keep on winning games, you have to start Gardner. Maybe, you know, if they go 500, it's up for debate. And the last thing I want to see is have to go through that, because it's like we always say, it's a good problem to have when you have two quarterbacks, you know, that are good football players and you're wondering who to start. I get that. That's a great problem to have. It beats the heck out of the other problem of, you know, having a Blake Bortles. Do you bench him and put somebody else in? beats the heck out of that problem. But at the same time, when you have two great quarterbacks, that means in that locker room, you have guys maybe taking sides a little bit. And if the wrong guy ends up playing, do you lose a little bit of that locker room?
I would think, hey, man, if you're playing on that football team right now, and again, this is something we're getting a little closer and closer to it. We've tried to avoid it at times, but we have talked about it, what happens when Foles comes back. But if you ask people in that locker room right now, how split do you think it would be? And maybe where would your vote be of we're riding with Minshew or I think Foles is going to come back?
Yeah.
Where do you think? I mean, would it be pretty split even right now? And I understand that will change. We've all said that will change. It's a week-to-week thing. I mean, they could be 6-3, they could be 3-6, they could be 5-4, 4-5. He could play a little bad. People could catch up to him.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. I don't know. Shoot. I mean, knock on wood. I mean, he could get hurt. I mean, so there could be anything. But if you had to ask right now, the question that everybody asks us, and we talk about from time to time, what would you do if Foles was coming back right now? Boy, that would be an interesting question in that locker room.
Well, and here's the messed up thing about it, Brent. If I'm the GM right now and I was asked today who's going to play if Foles comes back, I'm saying Minshew because he's still riding the hot hand. I'm playing Minshew all day. But here's the issue. They just came after a loss. So if you're going to that locker room right now and ask, who would you play, Minshew or Foles? I bet a lot of locker room would say Foles just because they're coming out of a loss. Now, here's the unfair thing, and here's the messed up thing. That loss in Carolina, that wasn't Minshew's fault. Yeah, maybe he fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled, and there's 3 turnovers, and I get that. But that loss doesn't fall on Minshew. We didn't leave that Carolina Panther game thinking, man, that was on Minshew. Not even close. Couldn't be any more of the opposite. So the fact that you correlate wins and losses directly to the quarterback, Brent, and how you feel in that locker room directly to the quarterback, I think they'd probably go more Foles right now.
Hey, it's going to be a tough thing to do, but put yourself inside that locker room, what you know of Foles, what you've seen out of Minshew.
Yeah.
How would you vote?
Right now, knowing what I know right now?
Yeah.
I have to assume that the defense is going to get better. So I'm probably going to roll with Minshew right now.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
it's a tough call.
Let's hear your side of the story, man. Don't put me on the spot.
Yeah, I think here's what's happening now too, and I would say the similar thing, at least and I would be very short leash with it, and also I would kind of spin it like, hey, we're going to make sure Nick is feeling really good before he comes back, and maybe get a couple weeks in the practice. We don't have to rush him back. All those things. Yeah. I'd say all the right things, but I do think now, I mean, this is just an award that he won like the 4th time, the Pepsi Rookie of the Week or something. He was Rookie of the Month on the offensive side of the football. We might be seeing the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars win the Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL, and you might take him out. I mean, It's not the MVP award, but the Rookie of the Year in the NFL from the quarterback position means, shoot, you might have been in the running for the MVP award. Well, I mean, that's what, now that we're getting we're basically a month away because the Jaguars will have a bye week in a month from like this weekend. And this weekend, that was an interesting inflection on weekend. But anyway, they don't have to make that decision like during that bye week. They're still 5 weeks away from playing their football game when Foles is eligible to come back against Indianapolis. But, I mean, the more you stack this stuff up, gosh, there's a sense of it. I don't know what's fair to the locker room. I don't know what's fair to Foles, considering he got hurt. Now he's trying to work himself back. I don't know what's fair to Minshew. Life isn't fair. But I also don't know if it's really fair to take a guy out of the lineup that might be your Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL. Well, I mean, think about that.
But, Brent, let's go ahead and keep this in mind, too, because we can't forget about this as well. This has similar shades to what happened in Philly with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. All right. And when Nick Foles left, when Nick Foles signed in Jacksonville, some of that locker room in Philly, they were upset. They were sad to see him go. And keep in mind, this is a Nick Foles who in 2017 only started 3 games. Yeah, he was a Super Bowl MVP, took him to the promised land, but only played in 3 games. 2018, started 5 games for the Eagles. And even through all that, even through all the Carson Wentz stuff, even being, an MVP favorite for Carson Wentz in 2017, really getting the team to the point to go to the Super Bowl, the players in Philly still wanted Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. At least some of them did. So is that a testament to winning games? Well, yeah, obviously he led them to a Super Bowl. But it's also a testament to what kind of person Nick Foles is. And that's something that we can't, we don't see on a daily basis talking on the radio. All we have to go off of Nick Foles right now is the fact that we saw a small inkling. We saw him throw a really great pass for a touchdown, and then he got hurt. That's all we have to go off of. But what we don't see is how he's interacting with his teammates. How he's, helping his teammates out even when he's on IR right now or he's not, playing. So we got to put that into account as well.
Yeah, good call. By the way, Alvin Kamara, folks are talking about now. He missed the last couple of days of practice with an ankle injury, listed as questionable in the game on Sunday. So something to keep an eye on for sure. We'll talk about that a little bit later, what the impact of that could be, and it could be massive, of course. But the Jags have to solidify some other things anyway. Hey, Kuz, I'm going to produce on the fly, okay? When we come back, we're going to have Artis Gilmore on for our Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks, so that's on the way. But I want to send everybody to break, if we can, with some of my conversation with Flint Minshew, Gardner Minshew's dad in Brandon, Mississippi. We actually drove around town while I visited there. Here's some of that conversation as we send you to break, and we'll be back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
So we've been here since we moved to Brandon. Got a couple of lakes to fish in, got tennis courts, swimming pool. Kind of like the Clampetts that come to town, Here's the church he grew up in that we're members of, Brandon First United Methodist, and that's the basketball gym.
We went to town a little bit. Obviously, it's a small downtown, so.
Yeah, old downtown. That's one of the reasons we liked here, too. We looked at a couple other places that had 6A schools, and we like the fact that Brandon's an old town. This town really revolves around the school here. And that's very neat.
This is the next wave of Gardner Minshew's.
Yes, this is Shiloh Park. You see what you got walking in right here. That was us, 16 years ago.
Was he pretty good? Just a good athlete in general?
Yeah, he's always been. He's never been the most athletic guy, but he's always been very good because he was a good athlete, but he was always very smart and very analytical on figuring stuff out.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Lowe's makes it easy for pros like you to get the supplies you need for the job, plus deals to help you save. Whether you're building new construction or managing properties, shop now and get 15% off custom doors and windows. And lock down $10 savings on a Quickset Cameron Satin Nickel Keyed Combo Pack, now just $39.98. It features smart key security technology so the lock can be rekeyed in seconds. For this job and every job after, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox, Annabelle Sanchez. Miles Michael lists the pitching matchup tonight from St. Louis. Nationals-Cardinals, Game 1, National League Championship Series. Cardinals coming off a round of the Braves in Game 5 of their NLDS. Nationals Wednesday came from behind, ended up beating the Dodgers in extra innings to advance to the League Championship Series. First pitch scheduled for just after 8 p.m. Eastern. ESPN radio coverage with Mark Hestisher at 7 Eastern. 0-5 Redskins, 0-4 Dolphins meet Sunday in Miami. Case Keenum will start at quarterback for the Redskins. Dwayne Haskins will be the Washington backup. 4-0 49ers on the road against the Rams for Week 6. Rams head coach Sean McVay today on ESPN LA 710.
they're really a good football team, extremely well coached. Know a lot of these guys, whether it's been working with them or just kind of building some relationships over the course of the last handful of years. And it's going to be an exciting matchup for us for sure.
Texans and Chiefs Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium. Tyreek Hill will be a game-time decision for the Chiefs. The same for Houston receiver Kenny Stills, who is still recovering from a hamstring injury.
Right now, Dodge is offering Power Dollars. Get $10 off for each horsepower of your new car, all the way up to $7,970 off for a Challenger SRT Hellcat Redeye. Hurry into your local Dodge dealer today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, it's Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks time. How are we doing anyway? Kuz, do you have the standings?
I don't have this week added in. I can find them for you, though.
Okay, we'll get it a little bit later. I think Stuart Weber will join us in a bit. We'll social media it out as well as we continue to keep track. I think I had a decent week last week. I think I was 4-2. I don't know if Austin Lane continues to try to cheat the system or not.
It didn't cheat the system, Brent. Like I said, there's a conspiracy going on. No one wants to see me win, so I don't really even care anymore. I'll be honest with you.
I do have them now.
Oh, what you got then, Kuz? Update us before
right.
we welcome in our celebrity picker.
Your total score right now, you're 16 for 14. Marcella is 14 for 16. Austin is 16 for 14. Stuart's 17 for 13. Our guests all combined together are 18 for 12. And I'm going to leave myself out because it's not that good.
But correction, though, was my thing edited from 2 weeks ago?
Yes, yours was edited.
I don't believe you. Okay.
Okay. I was like, I thought we were doing completion percentages there for a second. But anyway, those are the picks. So we're all just like, okay.
We're all 500, basically.
Don't put a lot of money on this is really the lesson of all this right now. All right, so right now we are going to welcome in our Celebrity Six-Pack of Picks guest for this week. And you know him as the NBA Hall of Famer, former JU Dolphin star, the big man in the middle, Mr. Artis Gilmore. How you doing, Artis?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Brent, how's everything going?
We're awesome. Great to talk to you, and so glad you could join us. Brent Martineau here, and former Jags player and current MMA fighter, Artis Austin Lane, my co-host. So that's who you'll be hearing from.
Austin.
How you
Don't
doing?
step in the cage with Austin, Artis.
Hey, I tell you, Brent, I've given up those days since I walked off the floor from as an active player in the NBA. I recognize where my lane is now, which is sitting on the side watching and observing.
Well, Artis, I'm going to tell you what, man. If you ever decide to change lanes, I think you have the reach for MMA. So just go ahead and give me a call, and we can go ahead and get you in the cage.
I don't think so. I've had a chance to view a few of those on their videos, and I don't think I would be comfortable taking that kind of a beat.
Artis Gilmore with us, JU Dolphin legend, of course, NBA Hall of Famer, and all around awesome guy here in Jacksonville, still very much a part of this community, so much so. Before we get to the picks, Artis, I want to ask you about this event you have coming up. Real Men Wear Pink. In fact, you just sent me a picture a short time ago. I'm going to tweet that out if you don't mind and share with everybody.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
You're looking good in pink. Obviously trying to raise some money for the American Cancer Society. How'd you get involved? And tell us a little bit about your passion for helping this cause.
Well, Brent, as you know, that breast cancer or cancer, period, it touches and connects with, in some respect, all of us. And so this dreadful disease, there is only one combated way to fight it is, for everybody to be and supportive, find some way to support this effort. and me in my personal way, I'm active as far as trying to raise funds to support this particular disease, which is breast cancer.
Well, it's pretty cool that you're doing that. And you guys have an event coming up on Monday, right? Just in a few days. Obviously, it's Awareness Month here in the month of October. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's happening on Monday?
Yes, Monday evening at 6 o'clock from 6 to 8, we're going to host a little event at Fish Market down at the beach, and we hopefully that we can bring a number of guests out. I'd like to greet them and certainly express my appreciation for their support. And I think it's going to be a really, really nice function for individuals to greet each other and just participate.
It's part of the Real Men Wear Pink fundraising event for Artis Gilmore. I'm going to tweet out a link on how you can get involved, a little bit more information. So we'll share that on the social media platforms. We'll continue to push that as well throughout the remainder of the show and maybe even mention on Monday. So put it on your calendar, folks, for Monday, just a couple of days away. Help support Artis Gilmore, help support the American Cancer Society, and help support these battles against cancer that so many of us are touched by. So appreciate your efforts on that, Artis. Hey, how excited are you for hoop season? Both the NBA, and we're not going to talk about the China stuff, but the NBA season's on the horizon, but also you're so involved still with the JU Dolphins, and that season's about ready to tip off soon as well.
Yes, we're excited that we've had some changes here in our program, but we're truly excited about the developments in this particular environment here over at JU. This is a new place. Brent, really, you look back and think about some of the earlier times, and we're approaching very quickly next year. But we start this coming weekend celebrate our 50th anniversary. We have a number of individuals returning for this special celebration, and it's just a special time here at JU, especially with our sports and activities. And now basketball is on the horizon, as you indicated. So it's just an exciting time here.
Yeah, really some great people over there at JU. Alex Ricker-Gilbert, Tim Cost, obviously the president, Alex, the athletic director, Tony Jasic, the basketball coach. I mean, we can go on and on. Chris Hayes in baseball and Ian Shields in football. But there's been one common theme over those 50 years. And before we get to the picks, I want to ask you about this. Have you enjoyed being kind of the ambassador for this school, what you guys did accomplish now going on almost 5 decades ago? And, of course, once you got into that Hall of Fame and your successful professional career, it gives you a new status, even though you probably should earn that status well before you did, in my opinion. But have you enjoyed this ambassador role to help the Dolphins community, to help Jacksonville University? You've done a great job of it. And, I mean, there's probably no better person to be able to do something like that.
Thank you, Brent. Going on 5 decades sounds a heck of a lot different from 50 years. 50 years! Oh, my God, But absolutely, I've thoroughly enjoyed being a part of this program and making a contribution in whatever way, especially as an ambassador of this program and this university. Certainly, it's whatever way that I can, or whatever I can do to elevate and create a continuing positive growth in the environment here at Jacksonville University. I'm excited about that.
JU legend Artis Gilmore with us. Our celebrity 6-pack of picks. Here it comes right now. All right, I know you're a basketball guy, but I've played golf with you. You can swing it as well, and I bet you pay attention to that pigskin too. So here's your football knowledge. And by the way, Artis, we talk about it every day, and we're like flipping a coin on these picks. So whatever you got to do, you do. We're just having fun with it. We're going to take some college games first. Virginia and Miami play tonight. The Canes at home and favored by 2.5 points. What do you like, Mr. Gilmore?
Well, certainly, playing at home, that 12th man certainly make a difference in a number of situations. But, Miami, when I think in terms of the entire state of Florida and this South, we are football, even though Virginia has grown tremendously over the years in their sport. They done moved in basketball, certainly they winning an NCAA championship. But, if I had to select, I've got to go with Miami, Florida.
All right, you're taking the Canes. I actually like the Canes in this one, too, although on paper, Virginia looks to be better, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking Virginia here. And when you sent out the message saying what picks we're going to have, you got, Miami as a minus 2.5 favorite. And I thought that was a mistype. I thought it was a typo. But apparently they are. Apparently Vegas knows something that I don't. But I'm still rolling with Virginia. I'm rolling with, I think, the better team, even though it's in Miami.
Funny you said that, Austin. I double-checked it as well. I thought I typed it wrong. So Vegas, hey, we all know this. Vegas always knows more than we do, and they know something's up there. So a couple of guys from Miami, one for Virginia. We'll get all the other guys' picks in a bit. I'll run them down for you. But let's move on so we can get Artis out of here. Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma favored by 10.5. Heck, I just don't know if you can stop the Sooners, Artis. What do you think?
Well, I like the young kid. I can't think of his name right now. The new quarterback who transferred from Alabama. Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I think he's just, renewed energy and certainly he would be the difference on that field. So I like Texas.
All right, Texas to cover the 10.5. What do you got, Austin?
Artis, I like it, man. I'm also taking Texas, and I'm not taking Texas because of the players that they have. I think Oklahoma's the better team. I'm taking Texas because of Tom Herman. He's 13-3-1 against the spread.
Wow. Look, well, you did some research, Austin Lane.
You better believe it.
Holy cow.
You better believe it.
It sounds like somebody's throwing some money down this weekend.
Absolutely not.
I'm going to go opposite you guys. I'm going to go Oklahoma. I think it's a tight game, but I think Oklahoma scores a late touchdown to push it over the spread. I'll go Oklahoma. All right. In Baton Rouge tomorrow night, Florida and LSU. Really the game of the weekend. What's crazy about this one is LSU's favored by almost 2 touchdowns, Artists. 13.5 points. You like the Tigers or the Gators? And remember, you have a lot of Florida friends.
Oh, yeah. Being in Florida, I was just there. I had an opportunity to watch the tennis game. I thoroughly enjoyed the environment, being down in the swamp. It was a great experience, but, certainly going away, playing the LSU. The Tigers, they make a lot of they create a lot of errors, mistakes, but I got to go with LSU playing at home this weekend.
All right, Austin, what do you think here? Big spread, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think LSU, they have the offense to make this game a blowout, but I'm still going with Florida. I think Florida's offense is a little underrated. They beat Auburn last week, and keep in mind they had a lot of turnovers and it was kind of a sloppy performance. I think Florida comes out a little cleaner, a little more in tune, and I think LSU is going to win, but I'm pretty sure Florida's going to cover it.
The crazy part about this game is we're basing their trends, like the offense that LSU has and the defense that Florida has, off the whole season. And really, they've only been tested once. LSU against Texas, impressive, and Florida against Auburn, impressive. Here's the deal, guys. I like Florida's defense to hold them, but I think the mental part of this game, Florida doesn't have to win it. The SEC East is on the line against Georgia in Jacksonville. I think this one they take maybe lose a little bit of focus, lose a little bit of their edge, and I think this is an important game for LSU. And LSU wins this game, and I think they do win it big, surprising a lot of folks. I'm going to take the Tigers in Baton Rouge to cover the 13.5, and I'm not very confident in it, but I'm going to do it. All right, back in the early 70s, that Final Four berth led by Artis Gilmore for the JU Dolphins, which was an awesome story. Also in the early 70s, well, the Miami Dolphins, Artists, went undefeated. This isn't the 1972 Dolphins, Artists. They stink, but so do the Redskins. But the Dolphins are favored by 3.5 points. I think this is the hardest game to pick all year long.
This is no question. They are not on the radar on anybody's program, but certainly, I've got to go with the Dolphins. I think maybe they realize that they needed something to motivate them and get them fired up and back on track again. So I like the Dolphins in this game.
I'm coming with you, Artis. I like the Dolphins, too. I don't think this first pick type of thing matters to the Dolphins. Redskins have Haskins already. I think they're trying to win this football game with their new coach, Flores. Austin, what say you?
So I'm taking the Dolphins as well. Someone has to go, and I'm taking Miami. So this is the game, Brent, and I talked about it yesterday. We were talking to our DraftKings analyst, DraftKings expert. I'm predicting Kenyon Drake is going to have his annual big game of the year, and that's going to happen against the Washington Redskins.
All right, Eagles and Vikings. We have 2 more games to go. We'll let Artis go. Eagles versus Vikings. Vikings favored by 3. I'm not giving up on Minnesota yet, guys. I like the Vikings to win this football game, cover the 3 points. What do you think, Artis?
Well, I like the Vikings as well. I mean, I've been a Viking guy for an awful lot of years, and certainly I remember back when they had an opportunity to compete for the Super Bowl. I went there for a couple of times and made a couple of appearances, but was never able to get it done. But, in this situation, I like the Vikings.
Austin?
I'm taking the Vikings as well. I think Philly's bad at defending the pass. They have a lot of injuries. I think the Vikings would come out, especially at home, pass the ball. You heard Adam Thielen wasn't happy with Kirk Cousins. What happened? Adam Thielen had a great day. I think Stephon Diggs is going to have a huge day on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, last one, Saints and the Jaguars. And, Artis, I saw you last week at Timuquana Country Club at an event, and looked like you have a little Minshew mania. Got the stash going.
Yes, I've been you. I think we can stay healthy and the offensive line can keep him upright. I think that. In other words, I like the Jaguars. This is a home team, and I know the Saints are really tough away from home. They're playing really good. The new quarterback is, playing really well. But I like the Jaguars.
Hey, Artis, remind me. But I feel like I have a basketball card of you with your afro back in the day and the headband. What did you have that? You had the headband at one time, didn't you?
No. That was a bit much. No. It was enough over the top to have just the hair, but never the headband.
So you didn't have the headband. I'm trying to picture it back as a kid. I know I had a basketball card of yours, and I remember the afro part, and I was like, I feel like there might have been a headband. So there wasn't a headband.
No, absolutely not. But
okay, all right. Hey, all right. I got the Saints, Austin, by the way, and I hope I'm wrong in this game, but I got the Saints winning this football game. Unfortunately, we'll put the Jags at 2-4. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close game, I feel like. I think the Jaguars can win by a point. Wouldn't be surprised, but I'm also taking the Saints as well.
All right. Artis Gilmore, man, thanks for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. I always love running into you. And you can hang out with Artis Gilmore, too, one of the most fun guys in Jacksonville. Of course, NBA Hall of Famer, JU legend, North Beach Fish Camps, Real Men Wear Pink. It's featuring Artis Gilmore coming up on Monday, 6 until 8 o'clock. Get involved. I'll share the link on how you can do that. Help raise funds for the American Cancer Society. Hey, thanks for all you do, Artis, and we appreciate taking a few minutes today.
Well, I appreciate you guys talking about this really very important subject, and it is so important that the entire community as well as whomever get involved and help us resolve this dreadful disease.
All right, we appreciate your work, and we'll continue to push that out so you have a big crowd hopefully on Monday and a lot of people helping you out. We'll see you in a few weeks. Basketball season's almost here, Artis.
Thank you very much, Brent.
Okay, you got it. Artis Gilmore, NBA Hall of Famer, JU legend. Just an awesome guy. He's so much fun.
That was great. Yeah, that was fantastic.
He's a fun guy. And hopefully you can go support. Again, I'll tweet out that link this afternoon so you can get it. But you can also look it up, by the way. And it's on crowdrise.com is the website. North Beach Fish Camps, Real Men Wear Pink. Artis Gilmore will be there. And you can donate or you can go and be a part of it 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock in Neptune Beach. And that is on Monday. When we come back, talk a little high school football. Stuart Weber stops by, and maybe we'll give the other guys picks, too. That's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A nice warm day today, a comfortable humidity under partly sunny skies and highs in the low to mid 80s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Right now, at T-Mobile, when you come in and switch, you get the amazing iPhone 11 or iPhone 11 Pro on us with qualifying trade-in.
Here we are out in majestic nature, and you're on your phone.
I'm posting these amazing pics I took with my iPhone 11 Pro. It has 3 cameras.
Whoa, those pics are amazing. And you have service too?
T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever before.
Then you can look up whether these are bear tracks, right?
Or we could just run.
Come to a T-Mobile store today and get iPhone 11 or iPhone 11 Pro on us with qualifying trade-in. Military families and veterans also get 50% off family lines.
Contact us if you cancel or credits may stop and full price due. Phone via 24 monthly credits for well-qualified customers with qualifying service and finance agreement. Plus tax. iPhone 11 Pro 0 down with trade-in plus $31.25 times 24 months. Pre-credit price $999.99. 0% APR. Very limited iPhone 11 Pro quantities. Verified military get 50% off extra price for lines 2 through 6 versus Magenta with AutoPay.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Natural disasters can be unexpected and devastating to your home or property. If your home or property is damaged and needs repairs, it's important to use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
It's coming like an avalanche of savings.
Rocks, big ones, little ones, all beautiful and all one of a kind.
Rocktober.
Yes, all of our GIA certified diamonds are on sale for 1 week only.
And only at Beards Diamonds.
Get her the rock she's always wanted and take an extra 20% off Beards Diamonds' already unbeatable prices.
Choose from half carat to 10 carat.
Beards Diamonds Rocktober for 1 week only, October 14th through the 20th in the St. John's Town Center and at beardsdiamonds.com.
We're coming to Jacksonville. Oh, hey, it's Mike Golick. We'll be in town for the Georgia-Florida game and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and on your smart speaker.
Our Action Sports Jax game of the week is here in the backyard. Lee High School hosting Columbia. Interesting, Columbia might be the best team in the area. I think they have proven that they are. One of the best teams in the state of Florida. Yet Lee has won 3 out of the last 4 against Columbia. So this should be a really good matchup tonight. Looking forward to it. Kickoff at 6 o'clock right here on ESPN 690. And as always, we'll have the call of the game. Kevin Sullivan will join me. We'll also have video of the game on all the social media platforms, just like you're seeing right now if you're watching us on those platforms. The only difference is you won't get the window look that you're getting right now. You'll actually get all football tonight for Action Sports Jax game of the week. But this is where we call the game from. We're in a classroom at Lee High School. And, ironically, guys, it's a public speaking class.
There we go.
Well, of some kind. I mean, maybe, I don't know what that would fall under, but the board says, good morning, class. Warm up. Why is public speaking important? How does it make you feel to speak in front of people? And that's an interesting one as we welcome in John Bachman, because
Now, where are you going with this, Brent?
I can't wait. All aboard.
Well, here's the deal. This is, I think, two different things, right? When I'm in front of a microphone, throughout most of my career. Now, I probably was a little nervous like early on, but in front of the microphone, if there were 1,000 people in this room and I got the mic and we're doing the show, no problem. But for the first few years, maybe even more than that, public speaking without like actually broadcasting, it felt like a different animal. I don't know if you're like that, Bachman, or we're like that. You know, you grow into it, you do so many events, and then you're like, it's cool, this is fine. And that's kind of the way I am now, at least I feel like I am. But it was totally a different thing, public speaking versus broadcasting, even though you might broadcast to more people.
Without question. I think you nailed it, right? You get better at it as you go. And if you're not a little nervous when you first start, you're probably, I don't know what's wrong with you, because I think everybody's a little nervous.
I'm just flat out arrogant, probably.
Well, maybe that. Maybe that's the case. No, absolutely. I remember, speech classes in high school and being nervous, but, different people handle it differently, too. Some people get nervous and can't do as well. Some people get nervous and do better. It's just varying on how you react, I guess.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'll go one further. This one always surprised me. When you're in like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and you're reading, and you know how like you have the class where you get up and read, or maybe you'll read like a page and then they go to the next kid and they have to stand up and read. You guys ever have that?
Of course.
Yeah. So I was like, heck yeah, man, put me up there. I know how to read. So I was like all sorts of confident. Then there's always a couple that, they weren't as strong at reading and they didn't like to be there. Understood. Well, so I didn't mind reading. But then when I got to high school and they did a similar type thing where you would read something and stand up in front of the class, read it, I was nervous about that. Isn't that weird? Isn't that crazy? It's like, I think because I was so confident that I could read a little bit better than some others, I was okay. But by the time everybody else caught up, I was like, this isn't as comfy as I think I am.
You know what I got most nervous about whenever I had to do something like that was the memorization. If I could have a script or whatever, or if I could just speak off the cuff like we're doing right now, I can do that in front of anybody, anytime, anywhere. But when you have to memorize something, so, whether you're in a play or a musical or whatever, and you have a line or you've got something
TED
you
Talk.
have to, or a TED Talk or a speech in public speaking class, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is, that's where I got nervous because I'm just not very good at memorizing things.
Yeah, it still is one of those things that I admire the heck out of people that can really speak and public speak and reach people. And I am not probably that, but I remember folks that have done it. Like, it's really powerful if people are really, really good at it, To me, it's still like I like going to different churches sometimes and seeing different pastors or priests and seeing how they do it, Yep. It's really kind of a neat thing. I think part of that's the industry, but I really appreciate people that can get up there and hit a home run in public speaking. It is not an easy thing.
It's an art form, and it's a skill, and it's it's like being able to run a 40 and fast time. You got to work at it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well there we go. I feel like
Did you teach the class today? Did you get there early enough to drop some knowledge on these young kids?
I tell you what, everybody's paying attention in here. There's just nobody in here.
There's just nobody here. Everybody in the class is passing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
outstanding.
Didn't fail anybody.
Nobody. Fantastic.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm reading a quote right now, guys. This is by Benjamin Franklin. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. So what kind of knowledge are you dropping on us today, Bachman?
Hey, well, first of all, I'm going to give you a little grief for your knowledge of your co-host here. Because I reached out to you because there's this great story we're running today on Kelsey Ballerini, who was in St. Augustine at the AMP earlier this year, not that long ago. And she performed, and there was a kid from Ocala who's battling cancer. He's blind and apparently played a guitar for her or something like that. And so recently she sent him a guitar, and it's all documented. It's a beautiful story. And I reached out to you earlier because I couldn't remember if it was Kelsey or Casey Musgraves. And I said, is this Austin's crush? And you said, yes, it is. And I said, great. This is going to be great. And I tweeted something out with Austin on there and Kelsey, by the way.
Well, yeah, no,
I tagged them both.
Something. First of all, don't undersell this thing. You didn't tweet out something. And I quote from John Bachman at Bachman A and Jax. Folks, A-Train 92 crush. Kelsey Ballerini is talented and incredibly cool. I got taken this tweet this morning. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. And I don't want to say I don't know who it is because I didn't want to offend her. I didn't want to make her feel bad.
Hey, here's the deal, Austin. Just to piggyback on that, I retweeted John's tweet.
I know you did.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to go home. My wife's going to be waiting there. She's like, how many crushes do you have?
And I said, we have to get Kelsey on the show. Yeah, you did. I thought A-Train had connections. Yeah, you're right.
You said that. I don't know who that is, Brent.
So duly noted, it's Casey Musgraves, who I'm sure is also just as cool and just as sweet.
Hey, by the way, I found a new Christmas gift for Austin. It's a Kelsey Ballerini shirt.
Bring it, man. I'm not going to turn that down.
You can wear it to the amp the next time she's in town, too.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That's awesome.
If you guys keep dragging my name through the mud, I might be getting a prenup for Christmas. So let's just everybody relax.
That's not dragging your name through the mud. She's a classy lady.
But let's not tag her in a tweet and say I have a crush on her when I don't know who she is. That's all I'm saying.
It's harmless.
A little creepy.
It's harmless, Mrs. Lane. It's harmless.
People start to murmur. It's all I'm saying.
All right.
That's
Hey,
awesome. Sorry about that, Trey.
Yeah, I bet.
I don't know how to segue out of that, but here's what I'll tell you. Unlike Austin's fine marriage,
thank you.
We are following up on the great story yesterday of the car that was drowned in the St. Johns River. Do you guys remember seeing that? Where we had the stolen car was pulled out of the river and it had a rock on the gas pedal, meaning someone put it there on purpose. Yeah. Well, we tracked down the car's owner from whom it was stolen. And turns out there's a bigger story here, which is pretty fascinating. And I am a professional, so I'm going to leave it at that because my friends, is called a tease.
Yeah. Set your DVRs now. I can't wait.
If you're on the road,
up at 5 o'clock on CBS.
Yeah, that's right. If you're on the road, I don't know exactly if it's right at. I don't think it's right at the top of 5. So if you drive safely home, you should be able to get home in time to see it on CBS.
I can't, so I have to set my DVR because I'll still be in here.
You set your DVR, or if you'd like, I'm sure we will have another version of it coming up at 10 o'clock on Fox 30.
Perfect, I'm there.
So you could do it there too as well.
Cool.
Go ahead, Brent.
That's right before the Blitz, by the way.
Right before the Blitz at 10:30.
How convenient, because I'm going to be sleeping on the couch tonight, so the TV's going to be right there. How convenient for everybody. Ratings and me watching TV. Fantastic.
Hopefully we didn't give your wife an idea of how to get rid of you with a rock in the car.
Good call.
It kind of sounded like that. At least you have a TV in that room. You don't have one in the studio, so you can't watch.
Good call.
All right, John Bachman.
All right, guys.
Have a good weekend, man.
Happy weekend to you all. Thank you.
All right. Check out John Tanika, Mike Borish, and the rest of us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Of course, we'll have a lot of high school football coverage on the sports side of things tonight as well. Stuart Weber will be live at his game of the week. And Stuart, at his game. I'm at the game of the week. Stuart Weber will join us, though, coming up next. We'll talk a little bit, some high school football. And Austin, I got a text that throws out a scenario for the Jags involving Jalen Ramsey and Nick Foles in the future. Oh.
Okay.
Well, for the heck of it. Maybe we'll have some fun with it here on the radio.
You have my attention.
Yeah. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 rolls on.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The question on everyone's mind is, what will Gardner Minshew wear to the stadium this Sunday? After that, everyone wants to know if Jalen Ramsey is going to play against the Saints. Here's what team owner Shad Khan had to say about that.
I met him a couple of days ago, had a heart-to-heart, and, he's going to be playing this week. So hopefully you'll tune in to the Saints game.
And in MLB news, the Astros eliminated the Tampa Bay Rays last night, securing a spot in the ALCS. The NLCS starts tonight with Washington and St. Louis. Plus, a full slate of college action tomorrow with Georgia and South Carolina set to meet up at noon. Florida State takes on number 3 Clemson at 3:30. Florida mixes it up with LSU at 8. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. Locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
It's Dollar Down Days at Planet Fitness. Join through October 11th for just $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. So check every couch, cup holder, and coin purse and find $1 before Dollar Down Days are done. Join for $1 down in club or at planetfitness.com. See club for details.
All Stars Restaurant and Bar, 1111 Sesame Boulevard. True $2 Tuesday, each and every Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. Happy hour special, $2 vodka, $3 wine, $5 Ciroc, $5 Hennessy, $12 oranges, 50-cent shrimp. All Stars Restaurant, get there.
Hey, boss. How's it going?
Don't even talk to me.
Uh-oh. Sounds like you're having a moment.
It's not a moment. It's just been one of those days.
Boss, what happened?
So I'm driving around doing errands and stuff. I counted 14 Safe Touch security signs while I was out. 14!
Well, I guess word's out that Safe Touch is the best.
I mean, there's Safe Touch signs in yards, Safe Touch stickers on drive-thru windows, Safe Touch on billboards, Safe Touch on the radio. I'm about to lose my mind.
Boss, it's okay. There's still plenty of houses out there without Safe Touch.
Yeah, but the more people hear about the two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time, the crash and smash.
What do kids say these days? Safe Touch is going viral. Kind of funny when you think about it.
I hate Safe Touch.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Hoptinger Jacks Beach, Hoptinger 5 Points, and H. Jopton.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They've been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour is well underway at Best Bet Jacksonville. Lock up your seat in the $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble for just $120. You'll find satellites going on now and every day throughout the entire series. Get ready to take your shot at $1 million prize pool and the WPT main event. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
We're coming to Jacksonville. Oh, hey, it's Mike Golick. We'll be in town for the Georgia-Florida game and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
The
register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
My name is Artis Gilmore, and I am a Hall of Famer, and you're looking at Action Sports Jax.
I got a ton of family coming out here and stuff like that. Some of them like Saints fans, some of them Leonard fans, so it's going to be somewhere between.
So more Leonard fans are at the bank on Sunday than Saints fans, although there'll be a decent contingent now. They're a regional team, and I know a lot of folks from Mississippi are coming over. They're Saints fans. They get Demario Davis and Gardner Minshew, both from Brandon, Mississippi. So it's the Brandon Bowl for those folks. Should be a lot of fun. 1 o'clock on Sunday. That game is on CBS 47. I get so confused now with the football games because it used to be when an NFC team would play on the road, that game would be on Fox. It's not the way it happens anymore. But it's either on CBS 47 or Fox 30, but this week it's on CBS 47. Brent Martineau here, former Jags player Austin Lane back in the studio along with Action Sports Jack Stuart Weber. We'll get some high school in a bit. I'm at the backyard at Lee High School for our game of the week. But right now we welcome in big leaguer and now owner, or part owner, minority owner, of the Jacksonville Icemen, Daniel Murphy. Another JU guy. It's like Jacksonville University Day. We had Artis Gilmore on. Now we have Daniel Murphy on. What's up, Murph?
Doing good, Brent. We're taking over the world in Arlington. JU.
A lot of good people come from there. And, of course, same goes for Inglewood High School, your alma mater. Well, how the heck did this come all about? You getting bored or what? This is cool that you're involved with the Icemen now.
Well, I don't know if I'm getting bored. Big league is a little too tough to be getting bored. But I had an opportunity from a neighbor here close to me, that Andy Kaufman, that had a chance to purchase it, and he's right down the street from me. And my wife and I discussed it when presented with it, and really, with an opportunity to sink our heels deeper and our roots deeper into the community, we really couldn't pass it up. It was too good of an opportunity, and we feel fortunate to have been able to close the deal. And we're looking forward to opening night tomorrow. I think they announced a sellout yesterday.
They absolutely did. I tell you what, man, this has been a lot of fun since the Icemen have come to town. They've done a great job. Bob Arabo, everybody else. The fans love it. I mean, the crowds have been fantastic. They've been up there in the league leaders in terms of attendance. You said it. Tomorrow night's game sold out, the home opener, for the third consecutive year. It's been a big deal. They've had success and obviously going to the playoffs last year. Are you a hockey guy? How much have you enjoyed the sport? I know you grew up in Florida, so it makes it a little bit difficult from a local rooting interest until the Icemen, of course, come to town.
Yeah, I probably don't have the same kind of foundation that was built of people who grew up in the Northeast or a little bit colder weather areas. But when I got to New York with the Mets, I had the opportunity, because the New York Rangers were so gracious, to catch some of their games, and then some playoff games there, and in D.C. with the Capitals, and then this past year with the Avalanche as well, too. And there are a few things I think that are more exciting than playoff hockey, and hockey in general, but playoff hockey is about as exciting as it gets. And so we've had the opportunity to watch that, and it's got me. I bought the NHL package a couple years ago just so I could watch hockey. I haven't done it, but I'm considering doing it again.
That's cool. Daniel Murphy with us, of course, former JU Dolphin, former Inglewood High School Ram, and been in the big leagues now for a dozen years, believe it or not. 3-time All-Star, most recently with the Colorado Rockies this past season. Made his way back from injuries, had some good stretches here in 2019. One more thought about the hockey, Murph, is how much involvement is this for you and your family? Is it kind of on the periphery, or can you kind of, maybe as the years go by, get more and more involved? How do you view this?
I think right now is I'm not bashful in saying that my skills in this world are limited, especially when it comes to business. Like I'm a baseball player, so I wouldn't pretend to know the business side of things. But it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. As you spoke earlier, the Icemen have run a fantastic organization, so I'll get a peek at how that's done. How to run a corporation, how people are managed in a good family-oriented way with Andy, our owner. And with that, I think I'm probably going to be a bit hands-off since I still got the day job. I wasn't ecstatic about the way I played personally in 2019, and as a group as well, too. I think we would really like to improve. So, to be honest, I've already kind of turned my attention to the 2020 season with my workouts.
Daniel Murphy with us, former JU Dolphin here on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. And other guys probably have some baseball questions for you, too, back there. But let me just ask you, where are you at in terms of how you feel? I know you battled some injuries. And like I said, you did have some really nice stretches in 2019 with the Rockies this year. How do you like it out there? And where's your health at?
Yeah, we really enjoyed being out there. It's as far west as we'd ever been. Chicago last year for 2 months, but Colorado this year was great organization, good group of guys. Again, we didn't play the way we wanted to, but really enjoyed the group. I broke my finger about 3 innings into the year, so welcome to Denver, Rockets fans. That was not the best way to start, but I did have some good stretches. Kind of stumbled to the finish line, probably about the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. Something I'd like to work on. And as of right now, just kind of turn my attention and my thought process to 2020 and being as productive as possible.
You guys got anything back there, Austin?
Daniel Murphy, man, what's going on? So I'm pretty sure this is Austin Lamb, by the way, but I'm pretty sure I came across you a couple times when you used to train at Set Performance. I think I saw you training in there, and this is kind of my question. I haven't talked to too many Major League Baseball players, especially to your caliber. Like, what goes into the off-season workouts? It's got to be a lot more than just bench pressing and squatting. What do you look to improve on and things to go into the next season here?
So I think some of it right now is, I'd like to cut a little bit of weight. I'm 34 right now, so I'm not sure about anybody listening or you guys, but it doesn't seem to come off quite as easily as it used to.
Try
I got to be a little bit more. Yeah, I got to be a little more intentional about that. I've got a set up here at my house with some workouts that are sent to me. The team helps with them, and then I've got somebody that cuts my training sessions. And really right now, it's a little bit of a slow build to get into it. I don't want to get too far away from kind of shape, as from playing. You take too much time off, it's tough to really get that body back into it. And I'm going to start hitting here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which is probably the earliest I've done it in the last 5 or 6 years or so.
Wow.
And looking forward to doing that. And but yeah, it's a little bit of a slow build right now. I think I trained again today, so I'm at about probably 3 to 4 days a week.
Pretty cool. Daniel Murphy with us, one of the prettiest swings in all of baseball. It's a swing I show my little guy all the time, and not just because he's a local guy, because it's a pretty awesome swing. He doesn't need me to tell him that, but hopefully you hit it well in 2020 and have a fantastic year. All right, I can't have you on the show and not ask you about the playoffs. Your old team, the Nationals, what a series that was. Knocks off the Dodgers, 2 teams very
local
well
boy
in the National League. Yes, in fact, he did. Howie Kendrick, what a moment for him. West Nassau guy in the Grand Slam. How surprising is that? Dodgers were so good, but I guess that's baseball, right?
Well, I think it just goes to show you that in a short series, anything can happen. And now obviously, but heading into it, I can only imagine what the Dodgers must have been thinking, that their reward for winning 106 games was some variation of Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin. That couldn't have felt like a reward for winning 106 games. But you had to hand it to the Nationals, go on the road right there, really battled in a ball game where they were down 3-0, scratch one back. Juan Soto and Anthony Rendon are must-see TV, at least from my perspective. And then to see Howie with what a fantastic career he's had to this point, get that big hit right there. I saw Gene write an article about him, and I was fortunate enough to sing the praises of Howie Kendrick, though I felt my words fell far short of who he is as a person, a man, and a baseball player.
I'm glad you said that, Murph, because Daniel Murphy with us. I say this all the time, and I just don't think we celebrate you guys enough around here, the talent that's come out of Jacksonville and playing big league ball. And I really think Howie Kendrick might be at the top of that list. It's our fault, but it's probably all our fault. So we just don't really talk about him that much. I don't know him that well. I saw him at spring training and interviewed him a couple years ago. But he kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and you just said it. He had an unbelievable September, too. So he's kind of like peaking right at the end, but he's been a really good player for a long, long time.
Long time. I think he's 295 career hitter. He's got to have, 1,700, almost 2,000 hits somewhere in there. And, I play with Howie, and he almost lulls you to sleep at how consistent and how good he is on a daily basis. You feel like, well, there's Howie. He's going to have a good at-bat. He's going to be productive today and over the course of the season. And it'll lull you to sleep a little bit. Then you take a step back and look. It's like, wow, this guy's had a really amazing career.
All right, one last one for you, and then we'll let you go. And I want to end on a nice one, too. So actually maybe 2 more, but one more baseball one. How good are the Astros, and really how good is Garrett Cole right now? As good as Justin Verlander is, if everybody's talking about Garrett Cole, I saw that stat. I don't know if you saw this, but he did not get a strikeout in the 3rd inning of yesterday's game, and that was the first time he hadn't had a strikeout in an inning of a game he's pitched since August 1st. Let that register for a little while. this guy's been so dominant. He's tough, huh?
Oh, it's unbelievable. We actually faced him earlier this year, and it was, in a word, unpleasant is the best way I can describe it. And, he's gotten to Houston, and he's taken what was already really good stuff, and it's just kind of gone to the next level. And, with them matching up with the Yankees, I was kind of adding up on my fingers and took my socks off and pulled my toes out. I think it's going to be Greinke, Verlander, Cole, if I'm not mistaken, all on full rest. So it should make for a real treat of a series in the ALCS.
Yeah, somebody said, I think it was my little guy today. He said, so they think they're going to win, right, when Verlander and Cole go. So that's a few. I said, Ty, they think they're going to win every time they go out there. They got Verlander, Cole, and Greinke a couple of times in this series. How do you not think you're going to win, even against that great Yankees lineup? So pretty good stuff. All right, let's end with some Iceman talk. Are you going to the game tomorrow night? And how much fun to put on a jersey, wear a cap around, and say, hey, I own that team, or at least a little part of it?
Well, I don't know. I try to – I'll play behind the curtain a little bit. I'll let the people who really do the day-to-day work, like you said, like Bob and Andy on a daily basis, take the credit that is well deserved. But yes, our family is going. My wife and two of our three children are going to make it. The youngest one, it might be a little bit late for him. And then my parents and my sister are going to make it. And then also my in-laws. So we're really looking forward to it. I've been out there a couple times, and the Icemen have put on a really good show. And so we're looking forward to seeing what tomorrow is like with all the festivities.
All right, Daniel Murphy, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Congratulations on the Iceman news. Congratulations on this awesome Major League Baseball career. And I know all the family and all the good stuff happened. I hope you spent some good time with the fam. And we appreciate it. I'm sure you had to sign some kind of waiver to come on with us. Another guy that I know in our sports department probably made you do that, but we won't bring up his name.
Well, I don't want to bring it up on your show, but he has kind of cornered the market on it.
Thanks, Daniel
I'll come
Murphy.
on you guys' show anytime. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed listening to you guys. I'm going to listen to you guys talk about high school football tonight. I love it around this area.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
All right. Cheers, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Daniel Murphy, former Inglewood Ram, JU Dolphin, Washington National, New York Met, Chicago Cub, Colorado Rockies, three-time All-Star, NLCS MVP. How about that, Austin? Not bad, huh?
Very impressive. Didn't know he was coming on the show today, so I didn't do a lot of homework on him. But, no, it was really cool to hear from him again. Like I said, I trained with him a little bit. And it is, it's interesting because we always talk about the different training aspects of different athletes. And, like, when I used to watch him train in the offseason to get ready for the baseball season, it's crazy, like – I guess you kind of underappreciate just how athletic baseball players are, right? Because it's such a long season, and you don't necessarily think like you don't have to jump a lot. I mean, there's running and everything, but make no mistake about it, Daniel Murphy's a pretty crazy athlete.
Yeah, he's good. So underrated from an athlete standpoint, but the guy can flat out hit a baseball, and it's fun to listen to him talk about it. He's had a great career, and I think we're proud of him. Everybody in Jacksonville is, and I'm glad he talks so highly of Howie Kendrick, too, because I really mean that. I've said that for a long time, from Brett Myers to Daniel Murphy to Howie Kendrick, and the list goes on and on. We have a lot of great baseball talent around here, and we just don't celebrate it enough, I think.
Well, now with the next wave, too. I mean, you talk about Ben Gamble and Mike Clevenger and all these other younger guys who are just now making their way into the league. We're going to have some local presence there in the bigs for years to come.
Great point, Stuart. You're right on the money. I mean, again, this is a long list, and maybe we should do a better job of celebrating. It starts right here with me. So hopefully we'll do that more on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. All right, Weber, we like to celebrate some local high school football, too. I'm in the backyard, man. I'm in a classroom. This is going to be a good game. Do you think this is the best game of the night? The game of the week doesn't always feature the best game of the night. But do you think this one here, Columbia and Lee, is the best game of the night?
If it isn't, it's tied. With the game that I picked for myself, because that's usually how that works.
Yeah, you're very selfish like that.
I am, yes. So I'll be heading to Mandarin at Oakleaf, which I think has the makings of also being game of the week, just because you talk about that great matchup between an Elite 11 quarterback on Mandarin's side and a big-time prospect defensive end in Chance Williams, who just got after Jeff Sims a couple of weeks ago when they played Sandalwood. So Oakleaf and Mandarin in a district game, a game that is huge for both of these squads. I kind of like that one a lot. But shoot, Columbia Lee has been proven over the past few years that it's not only a great game the first time they play, because almost every single year these two teams meet in the playoffs again. So it's been really cool to watch that rivalry form between two non-traditional rivals.
Hey, let me ask you. Stuart, and I don't want to call. I'm not trying to downgrade anybody else, but Carson Beck, Jeff Sims, those guys going to Georgia and Florida State, and we had them as our reality recruits last year, and we followed pretty much their entire high school career. But is this guy better than both of them? Jordan Smith, he's going to USF. There's a chance he's the best QB in the area.
It's very possible. Yeah, Jordan Smith. He's that guy when you watch him play on a Friday night, you kind of do a double take and you're like, he did what? And, he's that guy who is that highlight reel player and just works his way out of these ridiculous situations. And part of it is how does that translate to the college level? If you're 6'4" and you got a rocket arm, that translates to the college level. I'm curious to see what Jordan does over there in Tampa. And I mean, shoot, we've seen these kind of guys do great in the next level, guys who can run it, guys who can throw it. And Jordan is definitely that. So yeah, he is certainly in the top 5, top 3. Heck, he might even be right up there with these guys that we talk about so much as top quarterbacks in the area.
All right. Well, you can watch him on our video feeds tonight. Action Sports Jax Game of the Week, Columbia at Lee. Stuart Weber, I always say, he's the man behind the Friday Night Blitz tonight at 10:30 on Fox 30. And all the high school coverage that we do allows us to do this Game of the Week. So good work all week by Weber. He was in Jacksonville to Mississippi and now in charge of the Blitz tonight. When we come back, we're going all Jags for the next 45 minutes. I got a question. What is this football team's identity? Let's talk about it next on ESPN 690.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Mark Anajar from the law office of Anajar & Levine. Falls can be embarrassing. Your first reaction might be to get up, but always make sure to check yourself for any injuries. Examine your surroundings to see what caused you to fall. Take pictures if possible, and call the manager to make a formal report. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hurricanes can cause severe damage to your home or property, so if you need storm repairs, make sure you use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Cooler weather is around the corner, and our free AutoZone Loaner Tool program is here to help you get your car in shape for those fall drives. You can choose from over 100 specialty tools, borrow the one you need, and get the job done right, all while saving precious time and money. And you can save even more with great deals every day on STP oil, starting at just $16.99 for a 5-quart jug of STP conventional motor oil. Visit us at AutoZone.com and start the job fast. Deposit required. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Lowe's has the supplies pros use most every day. And when the job demands more, we're stocked with the quantities needed for any size job at savings you can count on. Because when you buy in bulk, you'll get 10% off all drywall and drywall accessories. Purchase 64 or more sheets of OSB and you'll also save 10%. Order ahead at LowesForPros.com and we'll have your order ready for pickup. Our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. U.S. only.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website VidaDeLouis.com.
50% of all merchandise will go to these funds. Please help Vida de Louis help the Bahamas by going to VidaDeLouis.com.
As you know by now, I love the wings at Mr. Chubby's Wings. Hey, everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You'll love them, too, and you have to try the wings. But Mr. Chubby's has a full menu. Parents, kids, and sports teams, this is made for you. The American Dream Special. Burgers, fries, and a famous Mr. Chubby Shake for just $12.99. The American Dream Special. I suggest throwing in some wings, too, especially the Maple Cajun. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. Chub it up at the place to be, Mr. Chubby's Wings.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox. Washington Nationals go with Anibal Sanchez tonight in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Nats are going to be without reliever Daniel Hudson for at least Game 1. Hudson, placed on the paternity list, can be away from the team for a maximum of 3 days. Cardinals' Paul Goldschmidt collected 9 hits, including 4 doubles and 2 home runs in the NLDS against the Braves. Goldschmidt brings more than just his bat to the club, that according to manager Mike Schilt.
He's got a really, really good sense of playing the position, situations. You know, we go to the mound sometimes and, you know, make a pitching change, and a lot of times when that happens, there's people on base, and he's aware of every part of what's going to happen, what guys are going to do. So his positioning is outstanding.
Game 1 tonight, Nationals and Cardinals from Busch Stadium. ESPN radio coverage with Mark Hestisher underway at 7 Eastern. Rams running back Todd Gurley doubtful, and cornerback Aqib Talib out for Sunday's game against the 4-0 49ers. Saints' Alvin Kamara missed practice today with an ankle injury, questionable for Sunday's game against Jacksonville.
Vivid Seats, the top ticket source for the live events you crave, now has a loyalty program that allows fans to earn credit back. Go to the App Store or Google Play, download the Vivid Seats app, and enter promo code ESPN25 for 10% off your next order.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, really, that's all you can ask for is to have an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter. The offense had a drive there at the end, really, to keep us in the game. Just came up short. But, you know, you talk about all the things that happen throughout the course of a game. Turnovers, plays given up by a defense, special teams really needing to come up with something and not being able to find it. But being there in the fourth quarter and having opportunity to be in the game is huge.
That's Chris Conley on Jags Report Live Monday from Top Golf. You can join us Monday from Top Golf for Jags Report Live. Chris Conley there more often than not, and we rotate some other Jags players in the mix as well with our Action Sports Jags team. Brent Martineau here in the backyard, Lee High School, hosting Columbia in our Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Once again, 6 o'clock kick here in Duval County. So we will have our Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show at 5:45. And, well, Austin Lane, back in the Action Sports Jax studios, gets to cut out early and start his weekend early.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Well, technically, I get to start my training early, but yeah, I will be starting my weekend early as well.
What you got tonight?
It'll probably be pretty low-key, actually. Fridays are usually more of a chill night, so I'll probably just do some bag work and things like that. And then Saturday is a hard sparring day, so it's all in preparation to Saturday morning.
Yeah, is Sunday completely off?
Sunday is the off day. Yep. So basically Saturday afternoon, that's like the family day, and then Sunday morning I'm completely off. Gonna head to that, to the Jags game, check that out, cover that a little bit, and do my 3 observations that I see with Kuz, because Kuz will be there as well. So
Kuz is gonna go.
It'll be good to have him there to hang out.
Kuz might have hinted that he's going to go in jorts and mustache.
Okay.
So apparently the first 35,000 people that go in get a mustache, too.
Oh, sweet.
So
marketing, I like it.
I don't talk about my workouts very often. As you can tell, I'm now crossing my arms. So it looks like I've worked out.
Nicely done.
I got like the leg workout in today, and hadn't done a lot of that stuff in a long time. See, I'm working out, I'm doing some of these things I just have not done in a long time. And it's going to hurt tonight and tomorrow morning. I already can tell.
So,
a little fatigued.
Are we talking squats, Brent? Are we talking deadlifts? What are we talking here?
Both.
Oh,
Both
wow.
deadlifts.
Hey, easy, Brent.
Deadlifts and how much should I deadlift, by the way? What do you think?
Depends what kind of lift you're doing. You doing the regular one? You doing hex bar? What are you using
Hex
here?
bar, yeah.
Good call. I like you using the hex bar. Realistically, I mean, I think if you can do like 185, 225 or something like that, you'll be all right.
All right, that's fair. I'm in the ballpark. I think we're at 235 today.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's legit. What are you? Are you doing sets of like? You doing 3 sets of 10? Of 4? No,
we did 6 sets. We did 3 sets of 4 and 3 sets of 3.
I like it. No, it's perfect.
And so that's not bad.
No, that's good.
The hardest thing for me to figure out is the weight.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. I really don't. And I actually squatted less, I think, today. So then I squatted less than that. So which one should you squat more or deadlift more?
Usually you're going to be in the same ballpark, I would say, on the hex bar, because you can use a little more weight with the hex bar than you can use like on the straight bar. I would probably say you can probably hex bar more than you squat, but usually it's in the kind of like the same ballpark, or at least that's what it was for me.
Yeah, I probably could have done more on the squat today. Just going to let you know. But,
now, like,
all right.
if you're versus, so if you're like a big bodybuilder, then you can probably do a lot more in the deadlift that you can in the squat. But I think for your needs, I think if you're kind of on the same ballpark, you'll be all right.
If we, as we continue to be successful here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690,
yes,
I'm thinking of doing my own fitness show.
Okay. Hey, I mean, that's your prerogative. If you want to do that, Brent, I'm going to support you. Hopefully you ask me to be on that show one day. That's all I'm going to say.
It'll have Skittles and
Starbucks coffee. Well, Starbucks coffee. Yeah. And, a little pre-energy drink.
Yeah. Whatever I ate in Mississippi.
There we go.
Because that was pretty good. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Jags. I asked this question on social media. I got a lot of Jags stuff. I got to hurry up. What is the identity of this football team? What would you say it is?
In terms of, are they a run-first team? Are they a pass team, defense?
Here's the thing. When I think that's a common question asked every yeyear, right? Yeah. And I think the identity of this football team the last couple of years has been the defense. Because I think when you talk Jacksonville, if you ask somebody in Mankato, Minnesota, what the Jaguars are all about, they'll talk about their defense.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it is. I think it's the first thing that pops in my mind when you say Jaguars, and I think of them from a stylistic standpoint, much like you would say Kansas City. Oh, man, high-flying offense, right? Well, okay, so the defense. But it's not that right now. Like, if I asked people from around the country, they would still say that because they would say Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue and Miles Jack and all these Josh Allen now. But it's not. They've proven that it's not their defense. That's not the way it is. Like, if you're watching the Jags week to week, their identity is not their defense. Until they prove otherwise and gain that title back, I just don't believe it is. In a weird way, man, can your identity be a player? Because I feel like it's Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to ask me straight up from what I know this season, what the Jaguars' identity is, I would say right now, with everything that I know, it's the pass game. You know, now they could be a run-first team, but let's be honest, Fournette's only had 2 good games this entire season. Now he's like, the third or fourth leading rusher in the NFL. So they are still a rushing team. But yeah, either Minshew or they're a passing first team. And I think their identity's got to go around in the fact that in the passing game, they can beat you so many different ways. So I'm not sure how you can sum that up in like a word or less, but I feel like their versatility in the pass game is what their identity is right now.
Do you have like that button that if you swear, Kuz, like you can hit? Because don't you want to just kind of say, holy bleep? Think about what you just said.
Okay. I thought I did something wrong for a second.
No.
Okay.
Like, Kuz probably like going to get something to eat anyway. Yeah. But think about what you just said. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
Their identity might, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you because I kind of said their quarterback and you said the passing game, and that's probably more accurate. The Jacksonville Jaguars' identity right now, 5 weeks into the year, is their passing game. And I would say that more so than Leonard Fournette, although he's very much a part of it. But and even if you want to say it's Fournette, it's still their offense. Their offense is their identity. And that's remarkable to say if you've been around here for a few years, forget about a decade or more. I mean, that's almost astonishing to be able to say that. And I've kind of used this word. It's like a seismic shift in just the way you look at the Jaguars at the moment. That can change in a couple of weeks, too. Teams' identities do change based on injuries, based on performance. But it's a pretty wild thing. Now, let me ask you this. How important is it to have an identity?
I mean, man. Okay, so I'm still kind of tripping out about the fact that the Jaguars' identity right now is the pass game. I'm going to be honest. And then don't forget, though, when we include their pass game, Leonard Fournette's a big part of their pass game, too, as well. So he's included.
You know what we didn't highlight last week, by the way?
Yeah.
That block he made.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't get enough love this weekend. Again, my fault. I should have brought this up more.
Yeah. No, same here.
But that block I want to go back and look at that again because that thing was a dang collision.
Yeah.
He stonewalled that guy on that third. I think it was a third down too in pass pro.
Yeah.
And that was the 35-yard pass play to James O'Shaughnessy in the first half. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So anyways, so to answer your question, how important is it to have a team identity? And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of on both sides of the fence right now because I played on teams that had identities, whether it was with Jack Del Rio. We were going to pound the rock with Maurice Jones-Drew, and we're going to play good defense. Even in Chicago towards the end of my career, when Vic Fangio was the defensive coordinator, it was all about pounding the rock with a guy by the name of Matt Forte and playing good defense. And occasionally Jay Cutler would throw a touchdown pass. So as a team, it's important to know who you are, right? Like I think in anything in society, it's important to identify with what you're good at and what you're bad at. However, the flip side of that argument, and I think this is the kind of the side I'm leaning more towards, Brent, right now, is the fact that if you know your identity, if you know what you're good at, well, you know what? The teams that are playing you are going to know what you're good at as well. And teams start to game plan that. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars right now and you want to say, yeah, for right now, their pass game, I think the versatility of their pass game is their identity. But who's to say 3 or 4 weeks down the line, well, now all of a sudden their run game is their identity. They pound the rock. And if they're pounding the rock, that means they're probably playing pretty good defense as well. So it can change. Anytime your identity can evolve a little bit, I think, unless you're like the Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're good in the pass game, obviously, right? But with that thing considered, you know what they're going to do, but you can't stop it. Jacksonville's not like that. But I think if you can change up the identity a little bit and you can keep teams guessing, I think you have a lot more success and more chances for wins.
Yeah, and here's the deal. From a passing game standpoint, and I'm flat out stealing this. I saw it on Twitter, and apologies for whoever I saw it from. I'm not going to give you credit because I can't remember. But I thought it was astonishing. You think about that passing game in Gardner Minshew last week. Carolina had not given up that many yards in the passing game, according to this tweet, since 2016. It had been 3 years, like week 6 of 2016. They hadn't given up 374 yards passing. So, I mean, yeah, it's their identity. That guy's the identity. Somebody, Real MBB, I believe it was, tweet me a picture of a guy in a mustache. Yeah, I think Minshew is their identity, which means the passing game is their identity right now. And I think it's important to have an identity at some point, at least to find it, because I think you want to be able to trust something. See, that's what identity means to me. If I have an identity, and I know what you're saying, Austin, like the other teams know it too, so they'll try to game plan against it. Mm-hmm. But if I know what my identity is, it means I'm usually pretty good at it, and I trust it. And I think it's important to have something to trust, because isn't that the problem going into this game with the Saints? You trust the offense. I've been saying all week, I think they're going to score 24 points even against a good Saints defense. The thing I don't trust is I don't know what they're going to get against from the defense. See, we don't trust the defense right now.
No, Brent, that's a great point. But at the same time, let's look at the past few couple of Super Bowl winners here. Last year, I think New England's identity was more of their offense. So, yes, they played good defense, but it was all about Tom Brady, Gronkowski, Julian Edelman. Well, they won their Super Bowl on their defense. They held the Rams to 3 points. Now, Brady played an okay game, but they won the Super Bowl because of their defense. Let's go back to 2018 real quick to the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the New England Patriots. The whole time everyone's talking about how, all right, their defense has to play well. They have to support Nick Foles. They got a new quarterback in there. Well, their defense gave up 33 points. Philly scored 41 points. So their offense was kind of their identity there. So, I understand where it's important to know who you are, Brent, but sometimes it's the thing that you least expect that's going to help you win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we got the happy hour horn, and I've got a scenario. This is just a scenario now. This is just fun radio. Would you take it or not?
Mm-hmm.
It would end up being Jalen Ramsey and Nick Foles goodbye. But what it would bring you.
Let's hear it.
We'll find out. I'll tell you that next on ESPN 690. I feel like I was just hosting American Idol or something.
Seacrest out.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
It's Dollar Down Days at Planet Fitness. Now through October 11th, you can join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. So if you really think about it, you have plenty of cardio equipment between your couch cushions and quite a few strength machines in your cup holder. Oh, then there's that free fitness training in your sock drawer. So check every couch, cup holder, and coin purse and join by October 11th for just $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment. Join in club or at planetfitness.com now through October 11th. Planet Fitness clubs are independently owned and operated. See club for details.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Hey, boss.
What?
You think it's okay to get out of here yet?
No, the cops may be still patrolling around out there. Give it another 10 minutes.
Okay. Boss?
What?
You still mad at me?
Well, let's assess our situation, shall we? Here we are hiding out from the cops in this storm pipe because you neglected to determine that the house we came up on had safe touch security. Is my assessment correct?
Yeah, but I swear they didn't have safe touch last week.
I don't want to hear about it, Corn Pop. We didn't even get to the front door before the safe touch video monitoring kicked in. Now here we are crouching in this stinking ditch.
Sorry, boss.
Just so I know you know, tell me the Crooksarus motto again.
Stay away from safe touch houses.
At least you got that right.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
Coming to Jacksonville. Well, hey, it's Mike Golick. We'll be in town for the Georgia-Florida game and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
It's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing. This is Action Sports Jax. Bang!
I think it'll help us great, especially when we came out of the Tennessee game, when they came and played home with us. And you seen the excitement that was going through the stadium. It just felt different out there. The defense played, the offense came to play. And so come out with a lead, it'd be great for us.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? If the Jacksonville Jaguars would play out in front a little bit, that would be good. Remember now, they've gone behind by 2 touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. Probably fortunate to win one of those games against the Denver Broncos. Brett Martineau here in the backyard at Lee High School. Action Sports Jax, Austin Lane back in the studios, wrapping up a Friday in the next half hour or so. Then we hand off to the Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show. I'll have the call with Kevin Sullivan tonight, Columbia High School at Lee. Should be a fun one on our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week. Nice job by Coos all week long hanging out with us. Hope everybody is getting ready for a big weekend in Northeast Florida and has a good one at that. That includes a big football game tomorrow night, Florida and LSU. We talked all about that yesterday and a little bit more earlier in the show. And then, of course, the Saints and the Jaguars on Sunday, and we're going to talk more about that right now. I've got a trade scenario for you. And again, folks, this is just a scenario. This is not a rumor out there or anything else, but somebody brought it to my attention, and I've said, you know what, let's have some fun with it. Let's see what it is. But before we do that, we got a happy hour horn on a Friday in beautiful Northeast Florida, brought to you by Vita DeLuise.
the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace, no. Anything goes. Gangsters are rolling, half-face smiling. Heads up, think of the rhythm what you're drinking. Anything goes. Hey.
Grab a drink, get a shot, tip your star tenders.
Hey, Vita de Luis recently got a 94 rating, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville. And, by the way, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vita de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. And let's help our friends out in the Bahamas. All you got to do is go to VitaDeLuis.com. 50% of all the merchandise will go to these funds, Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising, to help out our friends in the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian. VitaDeLuis.com. Drink responsibly, of course. Have a great weekend, everybody. When you get to that point, you're probably heading home for a fun Saturday and Sunday ahead. Okay, here's the deal, Austin. You ready?
I've been waiting for this for a while now. Hit me with it.
Okay. Now, you might have to even write it down. There's a lot to it.
Oh, wow. Hang on. Let me get a pen. Okay, got it.
I'm kidding. You probably don't. But, all right. Okay. So here's the deal. This was just brought up to me. So I said, what the heck? Let's have fun with it. This is not happening, people. Nobody knows this is happening. This isn't like on the table. This isn't a rumor or a report. Let's just have fun on a little radio on a Friday. And I'm going to present you this, Austin Lane. You can play GM if you want.
Okay.
Jalen doesn't play Sunday. Defies the owner, who's blocking the trade, of course. This is how it's presented.
Okay.
Jags trade him to Philly for a first-round pick and tight end Zach Ertz.
Okay.
Jags then trade Foles after the season for another first-round pick.
Okay.
Then you pay Yannick Ngakoue at the end of the year. You don't just franchise him, but you pay him because you're not paying Jalen Ramsey anymore, and you've unloaded Nick Foles' contract. So you move forward in 2020, and you have 3 first-round picks, and your quarterback is Gardner Minshew. And, of course, you have control over him on a pretty cheap deal because he's a 6th-round pick for the next few years. If you're a Jags fan, if you're a Jags front office, if you're a Jags coach, how would that sound?
Okay. Well, I probably should have wrote this down, first of all.
I thought you had a pen.
Well, you said I didn't need it.
I didn't know how good your memory was.
All right, so Foles, but no, Foles is going to Philly, though, too, for a first-round pick, correct?
Foles just going somewhere.
Oh, he's
not going to Philly.
For a first-round pick.
It's a separate pick. That's a separate trade at the end of the season. So, essentially, here's the deal. So it is easy. You lose Jalen Ramsey and you lose Nick Foles. You pay Yannick Ngakoue, but you also pull in a couple of first-round picks and Zach Ertz.
Okay, what are you getting for Foles, though? Nothing.
First-round pick.
Oh, first-round pick. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Which is probably high. I don't think they would get a first-round pick, so that's why this might be a little off.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I know he's a Super Bowl MVP, but I don't think you're trading him for a first-round pick because you already have a quarterback, so you have little leverage.
Exactly. So this really comes down to, would you trade Jalen to Philly for a first-round pick and Zach Ertz? That's what I'm taking away from it right now.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, you want the whole shebang because then you could end up with potentially at least 2 first-round picks and maybe even a third, plus a good tight end in Zach Ertz, yeah.
Sure, okay. So we have to remember, though, number one, that Philly is probably going to pick later in the draft because, you know, they're an okay team right now. I think that they're going to make a run for the playoffs, obviously, this season. So assuming that this pick comes from this season, you're probably not going to be picking until 23, 24, 25 at least, if not later in the draft. So you're basically trading Jalen Ramsey for Zach Ertz and a late first-round draft pick on that side. I do not do that part. But now, if you package it where you trade Foles for a first-round pick regardless, and if that's the case, and I'm not saying it's the case because that's not going to happen, but if you were to trade Foles away, that's going to be a team that needs a quarterback. And any team that needs a quarterback most likely has a really crappy record. Any team that has a crappy record means they're picking top 5 in the draft. So if you can get a top 5 draft pick, a late-round draft pick, and Zach Ertz for Jalen Ramsey and Nick Foles, I am considering it, Brent. More than likely, I probably won't do it because I think there's a lot more riding on having a bona fide corner than there is having a bona fide tight end. But I'm intrigued, and depending on how the Eagles finish is kind of depends whether I'm going to trade Jalen Ramsey or not.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Would it really – you're thinking – I like the way you're talking through that, too, of where these teams would be picking.
Yeah.
But, see, I think the reality is – and this is a great scenario suggested to me. Somebody said it, and I was like, okay, let's try – what the heck? Let's have some fun with it. Because I think this is what happens, isn't it? I mean, these kind of scenarios are what you have to play out as a front office. What if Philly calls us right now? Mm-hmm. Well, what if Minshew continues to play well? You know, all those kind of things. So are we going to unload? Who can we unload Foles to if Minshew plays well and he's our franchise guy now moving forward? Foles isn't going to stay here. He wants to go play somewhere. So all those things. So I like it. I just don't think they would get a first-round pick for Nick Foles. I really don't, because they would have no leverage. They want to dump the salary, and I think it would be more likely of a second-round kind of pick. So if that throws you off, being from where you said, hey, might have a top 5 kind of pick in the draft, I think you'd really have more like a 32 to 37 kind of pick in the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we have to take into account as well. Zach Ertz and John DeFilippo, they do have a history, you know, and one could argue that John DeFilippo maybe brought out the best in Zach Ertz. Now, Zach Ertz had a fantastic season last year in Philly, don't get me wrong, and DeFilippo wasn't there. Man, this is a good question.
Let me think of it from Philly's side, too, by the way. Would you do that? Because is Ramsey more important than having another tight end? They have Dallas Goedert, right? I mean, they need more help on defense, it appears, right now, don't they?
Oh, without a doubt, they need help on defense. Yeah, I mean, their secondary right now is decimated.
Yeah. And they get a franchise corner, you know?
No, exactly. I mean, that's a good point as well. But Ertz has been a big piece in the Philly offense, Brett. And take into account Doug Peterson, a very offensive-minded guy. You have Carson Wentz, who, I mean, all things considered, is still a younger football player, still coming into his prime. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I understand that my team revolves around Carson Wentz and that offense, regardless of how good our defense is. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure Carson Wentz is set up for success in the future. So if I'm Philly, I probably don't make that trade either, to tell you the truth.
Well, and here's the danger in it for Philly, I think, is, first of all, I think they're up against the cap a bit. So signing Jalen Ramsey to a long-term deal, I don't know how that part would shake out. I haven't looked at it enough. So if he wants a long-term deal, well, that might be a sticking point when it comes to Ramsey. Mm-hmm. The other thing is they are in such win-now mode, again, given their circumstance. Again, I think the Caps, they're up against it a bit, that you probably would want to keep Ertz in play. But if you're in win-now mode, is it worth going to get a defensive player that can really change games for you? And same thing Kansas City's probably thinking when they have interest in a guy like Jalen Ramsey. So the whole scenario, if you're just jumping in on it, by the way, I'll give it to you again because I know we have some folks that just jumping in. And so here's the scenario. It was just totally scenario, folks. It was not a report or a rumor or anything, but I just thought we could have some fun with it because I do think these are the conversations that take place inside an organization. And this person said, he texted me, said, Jalen doesn't play Sunday, defying the owner who's blocking the trade. Jags trade him to Philly for a 1 and Ertz. Jags trade Foles after the season for another 1 because Minshew is their guy. And they also pay Jan in all of this. Would you take it? You essentially end up with a couple extra first-round picks in 2020 and a quarterback in Minshew that isn't going to hold you back from a salary standpoint because he was a 6th-round pick and you have control of his contract for quite a few years. In fact, the way that works, it's a 4-year deal. They can't even negotiate until 3 years are done in that rookie deal. So the Jags have Minshew for the next 2 seasons after this one on a very cheap price. So it's an affordable option for sure, and it gives them some flexibility. It brings up 2 things for me, man. The biggest one being, and I think we have to talk about this more and probably talk about it next week. Let's see how he plays this week. But is it time to start reopening the conversation of getting Yannick Ngakoue paid anyway, regardless of the Ramsey situation? He played really well last week, and I think he's handled this really well. I would love to see those conversations fire back up, especially with all the stuff going on with Ramsey right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I mean, and listen, there's a reason why my giant bulbous head in front of me, this cardboard cutout, still says pay on it, and that's speech bubble, because I feel like you should still pay on. I don't care how good Josh Allen looks this year. I don't care if Josh Allen ends up having 10, 12 sacks this year. You can never have too many pass rushers, and the fact that you built up a guy, Yannick Ngakoue, who you drafted, you know, in the 3rd round, you built through your system. He's a good team guy, seems like a team leader, not only by example, but also a vocal kind of guy. That's the type of guy I want on my team. So I absolutely agree that they should still pursue in paying Yannick Ngakoue.
So many interesting times in Jags land when it comes to contract stuff, where this team goes in the future, their identity. Will they win Sunday? And can their defense get it back? One more thought on their defense, what Calais Campbell said last night on Jaguars All Access, and how it mirrored what Austin Lane said here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 yesterday. We'll talk about it next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Friday. I'm Jake Mitchell. The question on everyone's mind is, what will Gardner Minshew wear to the stadium this Sunday? After that, everyone wants to know if Jalen Ramsey is going to play against the Saints. Here's what team owner Shad Khan had to say about that.
I met him a couple of days ago, had a heart-to-heart, and, he's going to be playing this week. So hopefully you'll tune in to the Saints game.
And in MLB news, the Astros eliminated the Tampa Bay Rays last night, securing a spot in the ALCS. The NLCS starts tonight with Washington and St. Louis. Plus, a full slate of college action tomorrow with Georgia and South Carolina set to meet up at noon. Florida State takes on number 3 Clemson at 3:30. And Florida mixes it up with LSU at 8. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. Locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
How much money is required to open a small business? Is your business generating enough cash in order to reinvest and sustain operations? These and many other questions face an aspiring or current business owner. Need help finding answers to these questions? SCORE is the nation's largest network of expert business mentors with approximately 10,000 volunteers and 300 chapters nationwide. In Jacksonville, SCORE has over 50 mentors available to meet privately with you. Go to jacksonville.score.org today to schedule a free appointment.
You know you'd like to add an $80 gift card to your wallet. Well, that's exactly what you can get this October at any of Tire Outlet's 9 locations. We're here to tell you about the Yokohama Fall Rebate at TireOutlet.com. You'll receive up to $80 on a Visa prepaid card or Visa virtual account with your purchase of 4 select Yokohama tires. The Yokohama Fall Rebate offer, only this month. See more rebates and info at TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Anyone can get on the radio these days and say whatever they want. But how many people back up what they say? Beard's Diamonds does. Here's Ben, the 2nd generation of jewelers at Beard's.
I grew up here. My dad started this business 38 years ago, and we are constantly working to benefit the customer. Not only with the best prices, largest selection, highest quality jewelry and service, but also a price protection unlike any other store offers. We know how good our diamond prices are, and we're so confident they can't be beat. But we want to make sure that you know. That's why Beard's Diamonds is offering you a $500 gift card if you can find any GIA certified diamond for less, anywhere in North Florida. Yes, a $500 gift card. Anyone could say they have the best price, but Beard's Diamonds absolutely proves it and has been for 38 years. But don't just take our word for it. Shop around and compare. You'll see Beard's Diamonds will not be beat.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center and at beardsdiamonds.com.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jax. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They've been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
There is one name synonymous with joint replacement excellence, and that name is Heekin of the Heekin Clinic. For 18 years, Dr. R. David Heekin and his staff have been the leader for treatment of hip and knee pain. Eliminating hip and knee pain through advanced surgical and non-surgical techniques has been Dr. Heekin's sole goal since retiring from the Army in 2001. If you're looking to ease your hip and knee pain, schedule an appointment today and call 328-5979 or visit HeekinClinic.com. That's HeekinClinic.com.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Eli Manning is one of the nicest dudes, class personified. It's impossible to root against him. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not calling him some scrub. We're saying Father Time's caught up.
The Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Welcome back, Action Sports Jax on ESPN690.com. Going to be a beautiful night in the backyard for Action Sports Jax Game of the Week on ESPN 690. Columbia at Lee. There's been some really good games the last couple of years. Hopefully we get a good one tonight. We had a beauty last week with Reigns beating Sandalwood in overtime. You know, I tweeted yesterday, I think it was TPC Sawgrass tweeted 5 months away from the Players' Championship, one of my favorite weeks. It's a good time to give a special shout-out to the Players' Championship, help support our Action Sports Jax Dream 18. They support so many different community endeavors, and that includes some character development down in St. Johns County School District. Their Character Cup program was created from a national program that aims to instill trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship into the lives of the youth. The Players' Championship has committed $500,000 to fund the character development program offered in schools throughout the district. The Pillars of Character counts directly aligned with the Pillars of the First Tee program, making it a collaboration between the Players' Championship and St. Johns County School District. So appreciate everything the Players' Championship does for the community and also for our Action Sports Jax Dream 18. Brent Martineau here, Kevin Sullivan getting warmed up for our Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show in just a bit. But let's wrap up a Friday and another fun week here on the show with Austin Lane back in the Action Sports Jax studios. All right, man, you took us to the wall that says it all yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was all about the defense and fundamentals. The Jags had a fundamental problem on a couple of big plays. How easy is that to correct this week?
How easy is it to correct? It depends how you approach your craft. It depends how much of a professional player you are. I think that the mistakes that took place last week in terms of not looking in the backfield, not being distracted by the things going on in the back, and just eyeing your keys, having that eye discipline, I think with some film study, I think with some good practices, those things can all be addressed against the New Orleans Saints this Sunday.
All right. Well, you did a fantastic job, and I invite everybody to go to YouTube, and people have been checking it out, of breaking down a couple of plays, and also the Gardner Minshew fumble. And I thought you had an interesting outlook on that. And again, I don't sit here and say I know if you're right or not. I just believe you because I kind of have to. One, because you're bigger than me, and two, because you played. I mean, that's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't even combat it. I'm just assuming that you know what you're talking about.
I hope so, yeah.
Here's the thing. You know, everybody's interpretation of plays are different, too. You know, I'll tell you one thing. This will mean something to you. So we were talking about the 84-yard run yesterday on Jaguars All Access.
Yeah.
And Calais mentioned, and this will make sense to you, but there was a switch involved with the linebackers.
Okay. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So that's like a pre-snap thing?
Yes.
I don't know if I totally understood it. I don't want to mischaracterize it or misrepresent it, but I think that's what he said. I think there was like a blitz call and a switch of some sort or something like that. So that's why I don't do the X's and O's, because to me, you never know what exactly is called.
Correct. Yeah. Well, and even for me, Brent, even a guy that's played the game a little bit, you know, when I'm trying to break down some of these plays, you have to keep in mind that you don't exactly know the play call. Like, for instance, I mean, I don't think Calais, you know, this was his job, but maybe Calais' job was to get, you know, maybe washed down a little bit and take that hold. Maybe the linebacker had to feed off him. Like, there's always instances, and this is why I've always been kind of, you know, I'm for it, but I'm against it. Like I guess people like ProFootballFocus.com, right? Like, their analytics, and they grade, you know, every football player, and they give them a rating. and it's based off tackles and performance and things like that. But I always felt like sometimes when you're giving guys these ratings, well, it's okay to be analytical and crunch the numbers, but you also have to be a football guy when you're evaluating talent. And sometimes where you see, that guy got washed down. Well, no, maybe that guy's taking a pirate step. Maybe that guy was supposed to go in that gap, and you're just not knowing the play call. So I get what you're saying, Brent, where sometimes it's hard to know exactly what's going on. To get back to Calais Campbell's point where he said there was a switch. So basically what that means, what I think he's talking about, is when Greg Olsen went in motion, and I can't remember exactly what formation they're in to start the playoff, but when Greg Olsen went in motion, since he's the tight end, I think when he went in motion, Calais Campbell means that the strong side of which they called the play, it switches because he's the tight end. So it went from, a strong right call, he goes in motion to the left side, now it's a strong left call. So I think that's what Calais Campbell meant there.
All right, so anyway, last night on Jaguars All Access, coming out of the film room segment where they broke down that play, and Calais was responsible for some of it.
Yeah.
I thought Campbell was awesome, and you can hear it in his voice, like, oh, man, I hate messing up. Man, I kind of messed up, but we all messed up. Remember, we think there are 4 guys that probably messed up on that play, and we even left out Jared Wilson, who shaded the 2 receivers on the left side of the alignment and probably shouldn't have been all the way over there because he was a single high safety. But anyway, here's Calais Campbell last night on the show talking about that play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of teams do the same kind of play where they bring the tight end back with the receiver, try to mess with the linebackers on their gap responsibilities, and we get the safety involved in our run game as well, so they all have to bounce over a gap. But in my situation, I got to wear that because that was my gap. Now, throughout my career, I've took a lot of chances, usually calculated, understanding where the offense is trying to go with the ball. And the linebackers usually, will play off of me. But in that situation, when we had the miscommunication, I didn't have that typical safety net that I usually do. And I took a chance, and it wasn't pretty. Literally, it was way too fast. I should have been a little slower with it. And that's one of the worst plays in my career. I got to take it. I got to wear it. Got to own it. I'm hurt. I've been hurt all week about it. Can't wait to get back on the field on Sunday and redeem myself. And that play, a lot of times, it usually tries to go off tackle outside of me, so I tried to cheat it. I cheated a little too quick. Christian McCaffrey saw it and took off right where I was supposed to be. And I was praying somebody was there to have my back, and my man went 86 yards, 84 yards, whatever it was, to the house. And my heart is broke. It will be broke for a while. I can't wait to get back on the field on Sunday. You're going to see my best.
There it is. He was smiling throughout that. I thought he was fantastic. He also said, did he just say in that part, or it was a little earlier, I think, where he said, you can't be a robot, you got to be a player. Well, you said the exact same thing yesterday. I was like, has he been talking to Austin? Well, that must be a buzz thing. That must be a buzz thing in a meeting room for a defensive player. Yeah. I mean, you guys are talking about the same. I don't even know if I've ever heard that phrase. Yeah. Talking football. I probably have. Yeah. But then I heard it like twice in about 4 hours yesterday.
Yeah. No, that was great. And Calais was a good sport about it because I told you before, Brad. Like the last thing I want to do is go on the film and call out players. I don't want to call out Quincy Williams and say, well, you messed up here. I don't want to call out Calais Campbell and say, you made a mistake here. But props to Calais Campbell for owning up to it. And it's funny because the way he was describing that play was exactly how I described that Chris Johnson play when we started off that segment thing that we did. It was basically the exact same thing where you have an instinct, you act on that instinct, it's a mistake, and you kind of get left out to dry.
Yeah, well, my point of this part of the story is, one, the Jags need to clean some of those things up.
They absolutely do.
I think Calais is going to come back and have himself a big game on Sunday. He also enlightened me a little bit about taking chances, and the guys do that. You've talked about it, too. I mean, sometimes you'll take a chance, and that's how you make plays in the league, but also that's how you get burned. It's no different than probably a guy in the secondary. But it also shows that Austin Lane knows what he's talking about.
Hey,
so make sure you check us out on the wall that says it all. And if you missed it, and I know we had a little bit of a video issue on the feed yesterday, but we put it on YouTube. So go to our Action Sports Jacks channel, and you can see about a 15-minute description of those couple of plays, plus Gardner Minshew's fumble in the game against Carolina. That's going to do it here on a Friday night for Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hey, man, it's been a fun week. Hope you guys have a good weekend.
Yeah, it's been a blast. We'll see you Sunday.
That's right. From Jacksonville to Brandon, Mississippi, and back to Jacksonville for a high school football game tonight. Mr. Chubby's Wings pregame show coming up next, and then it's Columbia at Lee right here on ESPN 690. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us.
Jacksonville. Oh, hey, it's Mike Golick. We'll be in town for the Georgia-Florida game and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
What better way could you spend your Friday morning? Take your time.